Welcome to Mark Out of 10, the wrestling podcast where two British guys talk sense about wrestling, where opinions mean everything and nothing at the same time. We're going to talk about the passings of two stalwarts of the game, review Elimination Chamber, and a whole lot more. And we also have our top 10 list of prospects in the wrestling business. Whether they have the potential to be the next big thing or they'll be on top for years to come, we're going to talk through it tonight. But first up, I am the Mark Smart Shields and my co-host, the go-home god, the kick-out kid, the housewife's favourite heel, Hoxie. How we doing, Hoxie?
The kick-out kid. I love that. That's a great one. You get better every week, mate. You get better every week.
I think I've had a bit of a lull over the last few weeks, but you know.
No, you haven't. Don't you worry, mate. You're still knocking it out of the park.
How we doing, Hoxie?
I'm good, mate. I'm good. It's been a very frantic and crazy week with IRL stuff, and it's felt like a long time between episodes, even though it literally has been a week. Right, so we found the Thursday night recording night as like the go-to sort of thing, but it's felt like a long time. But I'm really looking forward to this. Looking at like future stars and things. This has been the easiest list I've done by quite a considerable margin. Just flowing. It wasn't really hard putting them into order. Usually I say like, oh, the top couple are sorted. I'm like a bit like, oh, it's nice. It flows really nice. It looks like a good little list. So I'm very, very excited about doing this.
Yeah.
What are you saying, mate? What are you saying?
I'm the same, to be honest. It's a busy old week. It doesn't. I agree with you. It doesn't seem like it's been a week. It seems a hell of a lot longer, but it has in fact only been a week. My list was okay actually. I had a fair idea who was going to be on it from the get-go. I think there were, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. My top 5 were locks in from the beginning. I knew exactly the order, and the 10 to 6 they were pretty solid as well. But again, it was just ordering, and I think up until it was about midday today, that's when I finalised it. And I think my honourable mention as well. That was a lock-in from the beginning. I knew exactly who I was going to have from the get-go. So, yeah, I agree with you. I think there's a lot of people that could have been on this list, if I'm honest.
Yes.
Massive amounts.
Yes. Yeah.
And, you know, if we do miss anybody out, anybody that is listening just now, it's not because we are ignorant of wrestling. It's just we have our own particular justification. And as ever on Mark Out of 10, justification is everything.
And there's 11 spots, basically. So we have to fill those 11 spots. There's lots of stuff that we've done in the past where we've been like, oh, but we haven't been able to do it because of whatever reason. But yeah, there'll be people will message in a lot about this. I think we'll get a lot of interaction with this one because this is almost as opinion based as anything because it's like it hasn't happened yet. It's the future, isn't it? We can talk about what ifs and play. Was it armchair quarterback or whatever with stuff that's happened and, oh, if I had the pencil, I would have done this, or why didn't this happen? This hasn't happened yet. So you can do whatever you want in your brain for anybody. So yeah, get in touch. How do they get in touch, Shields? How would they do that?
It's funny you should say that, Hoxie. There's a numerous amount of ways you can get in contact with Mark Out of 10. You could email us at wrestlemark10@gmail.com, comment on our YouTube channel, Mark Out of 10. We also have TikTok, we have Twitter, we have Instagram. There's more platforms coming at a later date once we have the all fixed up in shipshape and shiny. But you could tweet us at Mark_out of 10, and like I say, Instagram and TikTok is at Mark Out of 10. We are always interested in hearing your feedback about the episodes. Also, give us your lists and also ideas. We have got a whole list of ideas that we're going to run throughout this year. But if you want a particular list, we've got a lot,
A lot.
If you want a particular list done, let us know. In fact, the first person to email us in with a list, like a recommendation, we're going to do that list next, okay?
As long as it's not massively inappropriate.
Well, yeah, exactly. I mean, the thing is that if you email in and it's massively inappropriate, I just won't read it out and I won't tell you that we got it. So there you go.
We'd have to read it out, though. If it was funny, we would definitely read it out.
Absolutely, yeah. 100%. Okay, before we get into the list, we have got some news we're going to talk about. As I said at the beginning, we've got news and we've got Elimination Chamber review. That's happened and it's done. We'll talk that through as well. But as I say, there was two stalwarts of the game, two really prominent figures in wrestling. Passed away, sadly, this week. First, we're going to talk about both of them, just touch upon them And the first one we're going to talk about is Ollie Anderson, aged 81, sadly passed away recently. What are you saying, Hoxie?
He is massively, massively influential and massively, massively important person in wrestling. He's one of those people who would sort of, not everybody knows about him. Not everybody understands what he did in the business. Not everybody is. You could probably not say like, "Oh, that Ole Anderson match" or whatever. Like, there's not many people who of a certain vintage could say that. But old Alan Robert Rogowski, to give him his God-given name, absolute legend in the game. Legend in the game. Trained by Dick the Bruiser and Vern Gagne, two of the greatest wrestlers of all time. No dramas, mate.
Fucking animals, man. It's like a fucking zoo in here. Right. On Oklahoma. 3, 2, 1.
So yeah, basically, I mean, he is an unsung hero basically when it comes to either WCW or JCP or whatever you want to call it. Obviously, he started in the AWA. He was one of those original Minnesota guys. A lot of these Minnesota guys would come through the AWA. Guys like, obviously, you had like Harley Race would come through. You've got Larry Hennig. You had like Bob Orton. You've got loads of AWA talent. Ted DiBiase was AWA originally. Mr. Perfect was AWA. So we look back at that AWA talent pool. There was a lot going on there. A lot going on, basically. So JCP, sort of late 60s, early 70s maybe, and the whole Minnesota Wrecking Crew situation, taking on that Anderson name. So the whole situation came, I think it was like Norwegian or something. I'm sure it was a Norwegian thing. Like there was a lot of Norwegian guys in that Minnesota, sort of the historic part of Minnesota. But and they started with Gene and I think it was Gene and Lars for the Minnesota Wrecking Crew. So the Minnesota Wrecking Crew were obviously famous with Arn Anderson when old Arn come through, and he looked like the Anderson brothers, so they gave him the Arn Anderson name. So that's where it goes. And Ole Anderson, he was a booker, he was a trainer, he was backstage, he was a wrestler, like multiple time champion, just a big name and a big deal. Not known for being the nicest guy in the world. He had a reputation for being a miserable bastard. But there's lots of people who will say he was just a lovable big bear, really. And just a great, all-round big guy, big bruiser of a guy, hard, treble hard, proper old school territory guy. Just an amazing worker. And I think when we look back on that sort of Anderson name, look at that sort of Minnesota Wrecking Crew, that JCP, that AWA, like Florida territory as well, into the 80s in Georgia. Like that's where when Marty came in, was it Marty Lumley or whatever his name was? Arn Anderson come in. So all through Georgia, he was around to stalwart in the territories, and just an amazing performer. Big lad. Taught a lot of people as well. I think Tony Schiavone tweeted out the other day after the news broke, saying like he owes a lot to Ole Anderson for teaching him and sort of breaking him into the business and looking after him and that sort of stuff. So there was a lot of guys who would have worked in that JCP in that 80s into the 90s period, which they would have been involved a lot with Ole Anderson. So he'll be missed by a lot of people, definitely.
Absolutely. I mean, it's a name. The Anderson name is synonymous. Obviously, it wasn't his real name, but it's like you think Minnesota Wrecking Crew. You've got the Four Horsemen. It's like it's all Anderson, right? I mean, it's going to be a massive loss. And I mean, the fact he did start with like Dick the Bruiser and Vern Gagne as well. He was always. And the fact he was a big fucker, is a case of he was always going to be successful in that era. So yeah, it's a massive loss. I was looking up there, so the Ole Anderson came from a play on words referring to oleander, which is a toxic shrub. So apparently, so there you
Oleander,
go. Yeah, oleander, yeah. So yeah, very, very sad loss. So that was at the beginning of the week. So we record this, as Hoxie says, on the Thursday. And then very sadly yesterday, Wednesday, we heard that the death of Virgil as well. So Michael Jones sadly died yesterday as well. Virgil, most famous being Ted DiBiase's personal assistant, right, in WWF at the time, there for 7-8 years. And unfortunately, later became a sort of meme of himself. It was there's loads of famous memes, but I think Virgil in WWF, that turn in Ted DiBiase was one of the louder pops that you'll hear of that time as well. He was so over, right? Just very, very sad. He short stay in hospital. Obviously doesn't have the same sort of impact as All Anderson did on the business, but I think in his own right he was a true wrestling sort of superstar at that time as well. So very, very sad time in the business.
NWO member as well.
For life, man. For life.
For life. But I always remember, like, when I very first started watching wrestling, those WWF tapes. Obviously, I've spoken about this before in the archive and stuff. And he was there. He was part of it as a heel with Ted, and then obviously coming out and having his own stuff, having his own matches with. I always remember his stripy tights. Like, it's just like really random thing, like red and white stripy tights or whatever with the vertical stripes on them. That's all I remember. It's such a strange thing, but yeah, man. And like you say, he became a little bit of a meme of himself. But every single person on social, like on Twitter, like all the wrestlers that have worked the conference scenes with him and all that sort of stuff, nobody's got a bad word to say about him.
No.
Some of the stuff he did with AEW in recent years as well, just like he went there and was just an absolute delight, like playing ribs on all the guys and stuff. I can imagine him just having a field day with the younger guys. It would just be amazing. Just loads of stuff. Just a great name. Another great name.
Yeah, another one gone, sadly. 61 years old, which isn't old at all.
It's no age, mate.
Really, really not old.
Absolutely no age at all. Fucking hell.
And we tweeted out about it. We posted on Instagram as well. We're not just like a podcast. We are looking to sort of delve into the news type thing as well. So we do try and keep, if you are following us on our social medias, we do try and keep up to date with the latest happenings on the wrestling business. And those two were very prominent figures in wrestling. And as I said on the post, it's like condolences to their family, friends, and fans. It's a sad loss for the wrestling industry.
1,000,000%.
Okay. We had to mention that. Obviously, there is another little bit of news that we're going to talk about as well. Recently revealed that Tama Tonga, son of Haku, former member of the Bullet Club, is out of free agency after leaving New Japan Pro Wrestling and is apparently heading to WWE. Hoxie, thoughts?
I think this will be a great signing for the WWE. He's been one of the standout guys in New Japan for a long time. One of those sort of OG Bullet Club guys with his brother. So it's Tangaloa is his brother. So they're basically Haku's boys.
Yeah.
The hardest man in wrestling history, basically. So I would imagine the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree with Tama Tonga. His look. At one point, I think I might have spoken about this before. I've definitely spoken to you about this. When he had the face paint and the long hair and the long beard, and the paint would go into the beard like that fucking creepy style, like gang style face paint. If you haven't seen this, go out your way and have a look at it. He's blue chipper, man. He's a blue chipper. I don't know how he's got to the age of 41 without having an opportunity in any big international promotions. New Japan's a big show; it's a big deal. I'm blown away when all this, like the Devitt's were getting taken, and the Kenny was going, and AJ Styles went, and like all these guys. I don't know how he didn't get looked at. It's strange to me. It boggles my mind. Really does. He's blue chip talent. He can work. He can talk. He's got charisma. He's got the it factor. He looks amazing, like his body shape. He's a tall guy, like he's at least 6 foot. You know what I mean? He's a bigger guy. Yeah, boggles my mind. It took till he's 41 to get there. Crazy.
Yeah, who knows what will happen? It's definitely going to be an interesting signing. Now, the question I've got for you is, if he's heading to WWE, it's fairly obvious. There's two options, okay? One, which is probably a bit left field. Does he go to NXT, join up with former Bullet Club members Anderson and Gallows, who recently re-debuted in NXT? Or the more likely, the Bloodline storyline, right? Roman Reigns, The Rock, Solo, Jay and Jimmy Uso, etc. get involved in that. Now, is he going to have an impact on the finishing of the story, Hoxie?
Potentially. I mean, he's another one from the bloodline, from that line. Well, you know what I mean. He could be regarded as family, if you wanted to put it that way. I think it's the Bullet Club thing is too on the nose, mate. Yeah. I think he would be over that as well. I don't think he would necessarily be happy with that. I think if you're getting an opportunity in the big leagues, the big time, which is what WWE is, even if he did go to an NXT, I think he would want to sort of separate himself from that as much as possible. In terms of the bloodline thing, it obviously makes sense to have that. So I think Lance Anoa'i has come out and said to Dave Meltzer, we do consider Tama Tonga as family. So it's one of those little things, you know what I mean? They play on it, or are they trying to work it in, or whatever? I don't know. But we had a really, really quick chat about this, didn't we? A massively quick chat. We haven't laid this out. We had a massively quick chat. I don't know why WWE aren't putting the biggest play together for Jacob Fatu, who's currently signed to NLW and GCW. His contract won't be expensive to buy out. The money in this guy's talent is tenfold of what they would pay to get him out of any talent. I don't know if you haven't seen Jacob Fatu, just for a start, fucking Google him. And just have a look at this guy. Like, he literally looks like he would rip your face off.
And he would.
He would. Yeah. He's 31, so he's like coming into that prime time of his career. And also he can go, man. He's literally like, it's like Umaga. It's like looking at a brand new Umaga.
Yeah.
He's quick, he's strong, he's acrobatic, he's technical, he's a bruiser, like he'll throw you about, he'll beat you up. He just looks like a mean motherfucker. He's held titles everywhere he's gone, and he would just fit straight in. He would just fit straight into this bloodline story. I don't know why I do know why, but there's Endeavor in charge now, and there's way more worse shit that's gone on with some of their UFC fighters than what he's done. So I think if you look into that, they need to go and get him, man. They need to go and get him. It's crazy. It's crazy. The guy's a talent.
Yeah, absolute talent.
Rikishi trained him as well. So like Rikishi's his uncle. He trained him. The old Samoan gimmick, like, you know, I mean, the big boy Samoans coming through. It's crazy, mate. Don't get it.
Yeah, it's certainly going to be interesting. I think Tama Tonga, but if we go back to him just for a second, no, absolutely.
Fuck Tama. I want Jacob Fatu.
Fuck Tama. We'll go for Jacob. No, I think it's a lock-in that he's going to be involved. I think Jacob will eventually go to WWE. If he doesn't, it'll be a travesty. The worst thing that can happen if he gets inserted into this bloodline storyline, okay, which I think he will, it's near dead cert, is I hope they don't pull a Solo Sikoa type thing where it's a run-in, interfering in the match, and again. Yeah. And, you know, I've just got this horrible feeling in the back of my head somewhere that that's what's going to happen.
Mm.
I mean, the only other thing that I can think of is that it's going to be two Bloodline storylines where it's Roman with Solo and the Usos, and The Rock creating his own sort of bloodline.
His own little version. Yeah.
Potentially that way they could go down it, which would be interesting.
Tama Tonga could be like the cleaner guy for Rock's bit, the way his Solo is for Roman at the minute. 100%. I'll be interested to see how big the Rock looks compared to fucking Tonga when they stand next to each other. That'd be very interesting because he's a big boy, man. He's a good 6 foot and he's fucking jacked and ripped to fuck. So yeah, man, dude,
it's going to be good.
I'm excited that they've gone for somebody like him. I genuinely like. I know I've just been putting a big fucking case for Jacob Fatu, but this is a really, really good signing. I'm surprised they've gone for him, like I said, this late, being 41. But I'm definitely happy they have. He's won titles all over the place, tag titles. I think he lost the title or he reclaimed the title at Wrestle Kingdom. Holy shit! Let me see. I think he was Openweight champion, I think.
So he's won the IWGP Tag Team Championship 7 times. He was the Never Openweight champion 4 times. Never Openweight 6-man tag 4 times.
He beat it to Takagi to win the Never Openweight championship for the 4th time at Wrestle Kingdom. So, he's
a star, man.
He is blue chipper, mate. Blue chipper. I'm excited. Be good to see what he can do. I would imagine he's battered and bruised and fucked given all the stuff over in Japan, so it'd be really interesting to see him work that sort of WWE style,
slower, less impact style. Be really, really interesting. And I think it does. I know you say you're surprised, but I think this is another way of showing that it is a legitimate changing of the guard, right? It's not something that WWE would have done.
Vince wouldn't have signed him at 41.
Vince wouldn't have signed him. No, absolutely not. Vince wouldn't know what to do with him, but in Triple H and faith we trust, it's like, it's fine. We'll see what happens here. But yes, Tama Tonga on his way to WWE according to the dirt sheets. So that's the news. That's the main things that we've got. There probably is stuff that we have missed, but fuck it. We're only human, right?
We're talking about what we want to chat about.
If you don't like it, just follow it anyway. Okay.
Fuck off.
You have got an option. Okay. We are also fresh out of Elimination Chamber, talking about the hard-hitting style. Elimination Chamber is probably one of the hardest-hitting pay-per-views in WWE. It was in Australia. It was Perth, Australia, the 14th Elimination Chamber event, the birthchild of Eazy-E, Eric Bischoff, with an attendance of 52,590, I think it was, in attendance over in Australia. Foreign shows work, man. Give us Mania in the United Kingdom. Give us the Royal Rumble. Just give us fucking something. Give us one of the big ones. And if you give us that in the UK, mark out of 10 will be there live, and we'll do shit there. Right?
We will be there live.
We're going to go through each of the matches in turn. Just very quickly, thought it was a solid pay-per-view. We'll go into that in more detail, Hoxie. I was pleasantly surprised with how it went.
Yep. Yeah, definitely. I think that the story throughout a few of the matches was very interesting. And I was massively, massively surprised by the winner of the men's chamber match. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
Hugely surprised by that. But obviously we can talk about it a little bit more.
Yeah, we'll definitely talk about it. So, I mean, there was one kickoff, like, pre-show match. I sat and watched it, to be honest. It was the Kabuki Warriors versus Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell, obviously an Australian native. It was actually a decent opener for me. I don't know if you watched it.
I did not watch it, no. I didn't see it.
It was
decent?
It was all right, yeah. I mean, Asuka, she's different class, right? And, Kairi Sane's great as well. And, Indy was there for the cheap pop, and Candice LeRae is, Candice LeRae, right? They all got their bits in. Kabuki Warriors retained. Kairi Sane performed her insane elbow drop, which it is actually an insane elbow drop.
It
The
looks
height
sick,
that she
doesn't it?
fucking gets on that is ridiculous.
She sort of like throws it down as well when she comes down on it. It's wicked. Yeah,
it's so good. It's like she jumps and then she goes horizontal and then flicks herself again. It's just an absolute thing of beauty. And yeah, it was a great way of doing it because it was that cheap pop for Indy Hartwell being the Australian native, like I said, but it was always predetermined. Well, obviously it's all predetermined, but it was always going to be a Kabuki Warriors retention of the titles. So that's goes without saying, really, right? But we move on to the main show, and it kicked off with the women's elimination chamber. We had Becky Lynch and Naomi starting the match. You had Tiff Stratton, Liv Morgan, Raquel Rodriguez, and
Bianca Belair.
Thank you, Bianca Belair in the pods, and obviously they get released after, I think it's 5 minutes or something. Thoughts, Hoxie?
Naomi shouldn't be anywhere near a wrestling ring in the WWE right now. I don't want to flog this horse too much, but we've flogged it quite a lot after the Rumble. She has got an entrance, and she looks amazing. It even says in her music, she's amazing. And then the bell rings, and it's just... It's dreadful. Absolutely dreadful. But she was in there and she'd done a few little bits and bobs and it all looked like she was wrestling in treacle or whatever. And then, yeah, just whatever.
That's the point I've got written down here. It's all so slow. It's, for someone that's supposed to be explosive and, our moveset's really, really quick and devastating, it's like watching her walk through treacle. And I'm going to say something. Our entrance was better before she left. I think our entrance now is just bleh. It doesn't do anything for me. I think she looks horrendous. I think, like, I don't know who's doing our makeup, but holy fuck balls. I mean, just Jesus Christ. Just doesn't look good. It's just, there's just something missing. It's not the Naomi of old, and, it's...
I think things have probably moved on a little bit. Big podcast in hand. I think things have moved on a little bit, and the presentation of some of the other guys, especially in this match, are streets ahead of her. And it's a bit brutal, but yeah, just not for me. No. You got Tiffany Stratton in there, who's just incredible. Raquel is like she's an attraction.
Just like spectacle
person. Yeah, she's a spectacle. Obviously, Liv is in there, little firecracker. Like I find it really difficult sometimes to take her seriously when she's in there with some of these guys because she is so tiny. And I'm not. Well, I've said this before. I'm not fucking shitting on smaller people or whatever. It's just hard when she's standing next to Bianca Belair, who's like jacked to the gills. Like Bianca Belair's thigh is bigger than fucking Liv Morgan's torso. And she's like a good foot, maybe even a foot and a half, like taller than her. It's really, really difficult to take it seriously. And obviously you got Becky, who's just star. You know what I mean? It's really difficult to take some of these people seriously. But I think Naomi and Liv maybe could have been swapped out. I don't think Tiffany didn't. I don't think she looked out of place in there. I'll be honest with you. She was there for a spot. She had a few little bits and bobs, and you can tell she's still a little bit green around the gills. But she did not. She didn't look out of place with everybody basically when she was in there. And I think Naomi looked like the green one, not just because of her gear. It's like just because she just looked out of place. She looked like she was still fucking training. She looked like she just come from NXT. It's crazy.
It's worrying how far she's actually regressed. I think she has actually got worse, and it's really, really sad because she was incredible and she was a legitimate loss to WWE when she left. Yeah. But now it's like I just don't see it. I agree with you in terms of Liv. I think Liv is she's great for the division, but when you put her up, like, she's never going to beat a Rhea Ripley. It's not believable that she's going to beat a Rhea Ripley. She's not going to beat a. She's not going to beat a Becky Lynch,
a Charlotte Flair,
and
a Jade Cargill.
Yeah, exactly. I love Liv. Right, I think Liv. She's incredible. She is actually really good in the ring. She's got a phenomenal look.
Hotter than A blowtorch in a microwave. Yeah.
Yep. She's incredible. She's the old school diva, but can go. Does that make sense?
I bet she can. Yeah.
Behave yourself.
5'3", apparently, according to Wikipedia. And that's wrestling height, so she's probably 5 foot.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. But for me, like, Becky Lynch is obviously always going to be, like, a star of any match that she's in. But Tiffany, for me, she stole the show, man. She's so fucking good. Like,
sorry, can I just cut you off really quick? Liv Morgan's real name is Giona Daddio. Hey, Daddio.
That's a wrestling name. Why the fuck is she going Liv Morgan? What the fuck? Vince, you slipped up there, pal.
Daddio?
That's good shit. But yeah, I think Tiff Stratton, she is the next generation, like, in terms of, like, women's wrestlers. Like, she's got it all. And for someone that's only been wrestling for a few years, I think the sky's the limit for her. Her swanton bomb from the top of the thing, from the pod, looked amazing. Just the rotation she got on it, the angle that she hit, it was just incredible. I thought it was a really, really solid match, the Women's Elimination Chamber. The only gripe I've got about it was the finish seemed so rushed. It was so quick.
I think they did because there was only a couple of seconds between each elimination, right? It wasn't very long, was it?
Yeah,
it was like 10 seconds or something. It's crazy like that.
Not even that.
So they probably went long. They probably got given the Iggy. So yeah, but yeah. But
good match for me. It was a solid 7.5.
I'd probably say a 6 for me.
Fair enough.
Yeah, probably give it a 6. Just a bit above average. Nothing crazy. Few standouts, but I think Naomi brought it down at least a point for me. That sounds really bad, doesn't it? But yeah.
The reason it wasn't much higher than a 7.5 for me was because we all knew that Becky was going to win it to set up her versus Rhea at Mania,
so
right?
Are we completely forgetting that that Bayley won the Royal Rumble now, or what? Is it one of those WWE things where it's like this never happened? This isn't the Bayley you're looking for.
Well, she already, before the Elimination Chamber on the SmackDown, she already said that she was going for Io Sky, right? She was already going for the SmackDown title. So, but yeah, I agree. It's like there's been nothing of Bayley, which is an absolute travesty as well. But if you've got two matches to watch, you've got Bayley's match against Io Sky or Becky Lynch versus Rhea Ripley. Who are you going to watch?
Anything with Rhea Ripley in.
I take silence.
Wrestle herself out of a paper bag, and I wouldn't give a shit. I'd watch that. I'd pay 20 quid to watch it.
We'll talk about Rhea shortly. Next up was the Judgment Day versus Finn Balor and Damian Priest, accompanied by Dirty Dom, defending their tag team titles against New Catch Republic, Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate, people you have mentioned in the past.
My boys.
Thoughts?
I thought it was a really solid showing by everybody.
Yep.
We spoke about this whilst I was watching it. They were putting Pete and Tyler over strong on commentary. They gave them like 15, 20-minute match. And they looked really, really strong against the guys who they were in there. I mean, fuck me, like Finn is obviously the first ever Universal Champion, and Priest is the current, probably next guy, if you know what I mean, because with the Money in the Bank and all that sort of stuff. I do think they went a bit too soon with that. However, it's a different conversation, but they really, really put them over strong. And I know it's like, oh, well, of course, it's a commentator's job to put them over. It doesn't happen like that all of the time.
That was different, right? It was a different way of putting over. Yeah.
Very different. And they were a really strong showing, and the Aussie crowd really got behind them as well. I love Tyler. I've known him since he was 14, 15 years old. Like, I love him to bits. He's just one of the nicest guy. His mom is just like one of the nicest people. Like, his sister is amazing. Like, just everybody who I've met to do with Tyler is amazing. And I just wish the best for him. I really, really do wish the best for him. And Pete, I've travelled with Pete before, and been on shows with Pete, and he's just a top guy. And it'd be nice to see some local boys and some English lads, some British lads go and do well. It's nice to see them in that position because they had the DIY match, didn't they? The Johnny Gargano and Ciampa. They beat to get to sort of that final, if you know what I mean, of to have a go at the belts, and strong showing. I enjoyed the match. Like, they got their shit in. It was telling a nice story. Like, they were trying to keep the big man out, and obviously with Dom getting involved, they were trying to sort of defeat the odds and all that sort of stuff. And obviously Dom got the whole
get out
of there. Like, it's just
so good.
People were there for it. It was good. I really liked it. It's solid 7 for me. Easy.
Yeah, mine's was it was better than the women's match, so I gave it an 8.
There you go.
But yeah, I think that we're now on the road to the Judgment Day losing the tag title belts, them getting split up, and I reckon Pete and Tyler will win the SmackDown titles. And I reckon DIY or someone equivalent in Raw will win the tag team titles. I think we're going to start the cash in for Damian Priest, and I don't know.
Priest going to cash in against Drew, winning it at Mania.
Well, that'll be an indicator of whether Drew has actually signed or not, right?
Yes.
So we'll find out. But I think it's
a big fuck you on the way out as well.
Here, you got your WrestleMania moment. You've got the crowd to win it, but you're fucking losing it. Bye. Poor fucker. But yeah, everybody got their shit in, like you say.
Oh dear.
Poor Drew. But yeah, I can see a tag team title run for New Catch Republic in the short term. I think it's going to be really interesting. Yeah. Okay, so a solid 7 from
Triple H's boys, isn't they? He loves them.
Exactly.
He loves them to bits, so it's about time. About time they got some love.
100%. Okay, then we went on to for me, the weakest part of the show, which is strange because it involved 2 of the biggest stars in WWE, and that was the Grayson Waller effect. Now, Grayson Waller has definitely grown on me. I think he plays that. I said this to you. Grayson Waller has that Miz effect, and I've been shitting on Grayson Waller. I haven't liked him, but I think it's because he plays that dickish heel really, really well. So
he's starting to turn a corner with you.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, but it was. Royal Rumble winner Cody Rhodes and Mr. Seth Rollins, 2 of the biggest stars in the business just now, we can say. But it was a nothing segment, and the fact that Austin Theory was there, I just didn't get it. I mean, well, I do get it. I know why he was there, but it didn't need it.
He was there to take the heat, wasn't he? But as you say, it didn't need it. He didn't need it. It was like doing the Rock shtick and all that sort of stuff. It was just a bit. Bleh.
Shit. Yeah.
I obviously they're there. It's there to get those guys on the show and get them in front of that big crowd. But as you say, I genuinely thought that this was just nothing, just a nothing thing. It wasn't very nothing
good.
Really came out of it. Yeah, it wasn't very good, but nothing really came out of it. You know what I mean? It was all very, really, really scripted. Like Grayson and Austin just didn't sound genuine with anything that they said at all. I think Seth and Cody were a bit like, are we really doing this? I think they sort of not phoned it in, but you could tell they didn't take it very seriously to a certain degree, and it was just all building up to getting that pop, them beating up or hitting their little finish thing on Austin. But it was so
pointless.
Oh,
I think for a segment that was so heavily advertised as well, it's going to be a big Grayson Waller effect because Seth and Cody's there, and all that was really revealed was that Seth is almost cleared to wrestle, and Cody's going to wrestle The Rock at some point. I was like, all right, cool.
Yeah, wicked. Yeah,
that could have been a fucking tweet.
Yeah, exactly. Obviously Grayson's an Aussie guy. I think he got a reaction that he necessarily he's in Australia and he's an Aussie guy. He's going to get cheered.
Yeah.
So him coming out and like really trying to ham it up as a heel doesn't make sense for a start anyway. But it was just just shit. Just a nothing shit segment, basically.
I feel really sorry for Austin Theory, though, because Austin Theory has got the makings of a star, in my opinion, and he's just been sort of, it's not nice. It's not good.
No.
I'm not even going to give it a rating because it's just pointless. So,
if I was to give it anything, it would be a dud. Dud rating. Fuck it.
I mean, I suppose you can give it a 2 for like Cody and Seth Rollins' entrance. It got the crowd going. That's about it.
I wouldn't even for me personally. I wouldn't even give it that. Just bleh, just bleh. Yuck.
Oh, someone's woke up on the wrong side of bed this morning.
Vanilla ice cream. Get in the bin. Fucking bullshit. Boring. See you later.
Okay, then we go on to the penultimate match. It was the men's elimination chamber for a World Heavyweight Championship match at WrestleMania 40 against Seth Rollins. First up, it was Drew McIntyre and LA Knight starting the match with Kevin Owens, Bobby Lashley, Randy Orton, and Logan Paul. Thoughts, Hoxie?
Full disclosure, guys. Open and honest for the Moo 10 listening audience. I initially watched this and I fucking fell asleep.
You did?
Watching it. Which probably says enough about this match. I don't know, mate. Like I've went back and watched it in passing. Like it's the second time I went to watch it, it still didn't grab me. There was just something missing in that match, and it was very long.
It was an elimination chamber match by numbers. I knew what was going to happen at certain spots in the match. You know that someone is going to get put through
the glass.
Yeah. You know someone's going to do a high spot similar to the women's match with Tiff's
swanton thing
from the pod. There's going to be multiple slams onto the metal on the outside.
Mm-hmm.
You can call it. It was paint by numbers.
Could have done a fucking, what you call it, a bingo. An elimination chamber bingo, and you would have got a full out pretty quickly.
I suppose the thing we could say is every one of the members, unlike the women's match, right? There was a case for every one of them to win and go on. Mm-hmm. They were all legitimate sort of threats. I think it was always written in the stars that Drew was going to win it. For me, it was always going to be Drew McIntyre. The way the writing was up until very, very recently anyway. And this was just the stopgap for making the WrestleMania card, right? For the men's division anyway. That was the stopgap, always was. So obviously Drew McIntyre eventually goes on to win it. People are complaining about Logan Paul, coming back in and using the brass knucks and stuff. Logan Paul didn't leave. If you actually look closely at the match,
he didn't
roll out. So it wasn't a case of the referee let him back in. He was hanging on the peripheral of the ring, and he came in.
He was chilling. Incognito.
So for me, what came out of that match is Drew McIntyre versus Seth Rollins. I think it's going to be a cracking match. I think it'll be really, really good. I think it's going to be LA Knight versus AJ Styles, because AJ Styles obviously got involved and beat the shit out of LA Knight with the chair to the point where it bent the chair really awkwardly. And when he went for the Styles clash, did you see? I was like, "Oh fuck, that's on the short bit."
It's like the pointy bit.
Like, that's really dangerous. It's like it's going to fuck him up. I'm all in for that match. I think that'll be really good. But for me, I think the one that potentially could steal the show at Mania, and I think the way it's going to go is Randy Orton, Kevin Owens, and Logan Paul. I think that's a triple threat match. That's potentially could be one of the best matches on that card if it goes that way.
I think Randy respects Kevin Owens a lot, which goes a massive way to actually being a decent outcome.
Yeah.
But Randy and Logan get on really well. They had a massive, massive loving on Logan's podcast. Huge loving. Once I started seeing the clips from that, I thought they're going to end up doing something at Mania, and it'll be Randy's choice. And if we talk about Mania moments and Mania matches or whatever, I think Logan Paul's the kind of guy to give you those big moments at the minute, which sounds very strange saying that out loud. Because he's not a wrestler, is he? He's a fucking podcast guy, and he's got his own energy drink. And
he's a social media guy.
He's a social media star. Like, no, he's
a proper
legit.
wrestler.
He's fucking legit, and I would prefer a singles match. I would like to see Randy and Logan have a singles match, but if they're going to go three-way, then I'm fucking here for it, because they can all go. They can all go. Even the clip with Kevin Owens, he started slagging him off. Then Logan Paul was sat at ringside on the commentator's table, and I can't remember. We had someone in a chin lock, and he's like, "Oh, give me an arm drag," and got an arm bar or something on him. He's like, "Oh, you can't do this." And he's like,
"You suck. Actually, you're not as bad as you are. As I make out,
than you should be." Like, it's just
so good.
Just an amazing little exchange in the middle of a match. Like, it'd be good fun.
Kevin Owens is he's just coming into, obviously he's so experienced and so very, very good, Kevin Owens, but his comedic timing just now is so good. Like, and him and Logan Paul worked really well together. Like, when Logan Paul came in and Kevin Owens started headbutting the fucking thing, Logan Paul's reaction there was like, that's like a wrestling reaction. It was like, it's fucking crazy. And Logan like drawing on like the pod with a black marker like Kevin Owens and the big fat guy. It's like, it's just little shit like that. I genuinely think that match, if it is a triple threat, the way we think it's going to go, it's going to be really, really good.
It could be a highlight of the WrestleMania card when it's all said and done after those couple of nights. I think it could be a decent, could be a standout match, definitely.
A Mu 10 prediction here.
Go on.
I reckon Logan Paul is going to go for a frog splash at WrestleMania, and Randy Orton will RKO him out of nowhere. It's going to be this generation's Evan Bourne's moment.
The big high spot.
The high spot, indeed. Yep.
In
terms of out of 10, it was a match. Again, it had decent bits in it. Probably about a 7.5. It was very similar to the women's match.
They sort of painted themselves into a corner with the fact that they needed to do an elimination chamber match because it's the pay-per-view like before Mania or whatever. I think they sort of got to, with all the stuff that's happened with Punk and with The Rock and with Cody and all that, I think they painted themselves into not one corner, but probably about 3 or 4 corners, and they're like, how the fuck do we get out of this? And I think this was used as a springboard for angles. Basically, it was just an angle match. For me, I'll give it a 5.5 out of 10. It was just setting stuff up in loads and loads of different ways. There was some couple of bits and bobs in there, but I'd rather have watched the women's match than that one. And that's fucking saying something when you look at some of the guys in there, but it was just a bit, 5.5 for me. It was, I lowballed it. I fell asleep because it was boring. And then I tried to watch it again and it still didn't hold me. So sorry guys.
It's like you did fall asleep because I'd watched it already, and I said, "Have you watched it yet?" I messaged him, have you watched it? And he goes, "Yeah, I'm watching it just now." It's like, I've got to the men's room. I was like, "Right, let me know what you think at the end of it." It's like fucking 4 hours later. I was like, "Well," it's like, "Oh, I fell asleep." It's like, fucking hell.
I messaged him like the next day. So when it was like 9 o'clock, I was like, I might have fell asleep.
I fell asleep. No shit. Yeah. And now, Hoxie, it is time for the main event. Australia native Rhea Ripley defending her Women's World Championship against Nia Jax, who, incidentally, was also born in Australia. Did you know that?
Was she?
Yeah, she's also an Australian native. There you go.
What's Nia Jax's real name? I want to see. I'm going to have a quick look.
Overrated.
Savalina Fanene.
Fuck off, it is not.
Savalina Fanene. Oh, watch me whip. Watch me Fanene. Her name is Savalina Fanene. I'm not lying.
It's actually Savalina.
I couldn't have even made that up.
Oh my god. That's outrageous.
That's an incredible name. Incredible name. So she was born in Sydney and raised in Hawaii, in Honolulu.
Yeah, there you go.
Dude, like,
Can I say something before you go into
Yep.
Rhea Ripley made Nia Jax look phenomenal in this match. In comparison to how Nia Jax looks in other matches, this is potentially the best match I've seen Nia Jax have.
Yeah. I can't really deny that at all. Yeah, not at all. I think we need to really start putting a lot more respect on Rhea Ripley's name than what we actually are, and we put a lot of respect on Rhea Ripley's name. She's legit. She's legit. Probably the best in the world right now.
Easily.
There could be an argument made for Becky. We'll find out at Mania if she's still got all of it. But Rhea Ripley is, for someone who's only been around for the amount of time that she's been around for and sort of been on the main roster for 3 years? 4 years at a push? 3 years? She's fucking GOAT territory.
Yeah.
And I'm not just saying that because I'm in love with this lady. Even though I am in love with this lady, I am genuinely thinking with my brain about this. Not my heart. No, all joking aside, she is just incredible.
So good.
She can work. She can tell a story. She looks incredible. She's strong. She's technically phenomenal. Her ring awareness is incredible. Everything you want from this person. Like you say, she can work with anyone and put anybody over. You look at that WrestleMania match with her and Charlotte. I was thinking about this earlier on. The WrestleMania match last year with her and Charlotte, that'll go down as a big match, like a GOAT match, definitely.
Probably one of the best women's matches ever, right?
Yeah. I don't know. We'll probably do a top 10 on it at some point, but I can't really think of many off the top of my head. I can't think of anything better than that. Insane match, and I think people need to realize get past the mammy thing, get past the Judgment Day thing, get past all the visual part of things. I think everyone needs to actually understand how fucking good this girl is. She's insane, and she's still 20. Hold on.
6.
It's a fucking joke.
She is 27.
27. Just makes me feel sick.
I think this tells you who we're going to talk about in a little bit. Spoiler. But no, I agree with you. I think she is absolutely phenomenal. Definitely going to be up there in terms of the GOAT talk in terms of women's wrestling. I think you made an interesting point. It's there's arguments about Becky. Now, I can see that being the feud in WWE. Mm-hmm. Similar to a Rock Austin or I'm not saying to that same level, but you know what I mean? It's those perfect foils against each other. And I think that's the way that's going. And I'm all there for it because Becky's phenomenal in the ring. She can tell a story. She can grip you. And Rhea is just a next generation talent. She's so good. I'm all there for that match. I think it's going to be an absolute banger of a match at WrestleMania and really, really excited. And I genuinely think if you can make... Now, it's really unfair. Nia Jax, she's had a bad run of it, right? She's not the greatest, she's there because of her size and her heritage, etc. But she looked decent there. Rhea got her over strong. She looked dominant. There was a bit where Rhea tried to do I think it was a head scissors and Nia just didn't take the bump, and then they did it later on in the match. But it is what it is. We know she's not the best, but it was a good match. I enjoyed the match. I was surprised I enjoyed it. I thought it was going to be an absolute shit show. But if I'm perfectly honest with you, but it wasn't. I was pleasantly surprised, and it was always going to be Rhea going over, obviously, to set up. She was never going to lose the title before Mania. And an awesome moment as well, winning in front of her family, celebrating the front row. Great match. What did you think in terms of mark out of 10, Hoxie?
I would give the match a 7 out of 10. And that's probably more of a comparison to the rest of the card, than like an overall match in history, if that makes sense. It was probably a 7.
I'm going to give it the 8 for me. It was similar to the tag team. I thought it was a really good match.
Strong score. But she accentuated the strengths of Nia and hid all the weaknesses, and she made Nia credible. And it kind of makes Nia credible because of her size. Obviously, she's a bigger wrestler in terms of like height and sort of stature, and compared to Rhea as well. But yeah, it's amazing, very, very good.
Absolutely,
she was never going to lose.
Nah,
it was big pop, crowd were there. It's good fun. Yeah,
like I say, she's a superstar, and you know, we have been lucky in our time of wrestling, Hoxie, watching wrestling. We have seen some bona fide like superstars in our time, legitimate stars in their own right. But what we've got to think about now is the future. What's next in wrestling? Who is going to be the next big thing? So we're going to now list the top 10 people who we think are the next big thing in wrestling, or have the star power already to run wrestling for the foreseeable future. Really interesting list. So our top 10 begins now. I think it's you this week, number 10, is it? Or is it me? I can't remember.
I'll go first, mate. I'll go first. My number 10 this week is a women's wrestler who currently wrestles for AEW, and it's Kris Statlander.
Okay.
So she's only young, 28 years old. She's been wrestling for a while. Obviously, main stuff was on the indies. I think she's been wrestling for like 7 or 8 years or whatever. And she was one of the OG signings, really, when AEW started. I think it was 2019 she debuted. Amazing look, amazing talent, amazing size. Like she's a taller girl. She's strong. She's muscly. I'm really, really glad she got rid of that fucking horrendous gimmick. Of I'm an alien from the Andromeda universe and I come and boot people on the nose or whatever. Like that's just silly. But she's really starting to find her way and find her talent. She was out for a while because she had a really bad knee injury, so she's come back from that. She's already she was the TBS champion, the hose title. If you look at the way TBS is written on the front of the title, it looks like it says hose, which is highly ironic and funny. But she's one-time TBS champion. She's had some really good feuds. She's had some really good matches. She's obviously part of the fucking pudding gang with Orange Cassidy and all that sort of stuff. But I think the talent that she has, and we talk about like these, like, I don't want to shit on size. I'm probably gonna say this a couple of times tonight, so I'm just gonna premise it straight away. I'm not shitting on smaller people. I'm just there is a difference sometimes, basically. Okay, now she's a taller. Like I can see her in 3 years' time having a match with Rhea, at a WWE show, in like a main event of like a proper premium live event, not a Mania potentially, but I think if Kris Statlander made the jump and she went to an NXT and she applied herself and she got trained like some other people are getting trained right now, she got some input by some of these coaches on how to actually work smart and make sensible decisions and wrestle a really good match, she could be one of the biggest names in the WWE on the main roster. She's got a ceiling in AEW in terms of stardom and in terms of sort of like appeal and in terms of probably, if Kenny's going to be booking it forever, she's not Japanese, so she's definitely not going to be main event all the time. She's still young enough to go. to a WWE and have a couple of years, 18 months in NXT and get on the main roster. She can go, man. She can go, and she looks incredible.
Was she 28?
She's 28 years old. Yeah, she's a good-looking girl. Like her body shape has changed. She's really started to like take herself a little bit more seriously in terms of her presentation. I think she could be a really big deal in wrestling. I really do. And if she went to the WWE and got trained really, really well by top quality coaches like a Shawn Michaels giving her some pointers and stuff, she'd be well away. Like she's getting all jacked up now. She looks amazing. She's got a couple of tattoos. Like she looks so different. Presentation could be a big deal. Chris Statlander, number 10.
She was never considered on my list.
There you go.
She can go in the ring. I totally agree with that. Do I know what it is for me? I think it's the alien gimmick that I know she's moving away. She's moved away from it, which is great. But
does it put you off?
It's put me off a lot.
Left a sour taste in the mouth.
It has, yeah. And and it's amazing what a gimmick can do to you, right? It's like one bad gimmick can fuck you forever, and she can go and. I don't know, if she went to WWE, it would be the best thing for her. I totally agree with that. Would I put her... She would never be the girl. She would never be the guy. She'd be a guy in a strong division. I agree with you, she's got a ceiling in AEW. But, if you... I just don't know. For me, there's just something there. And, I think she's only 28. You're absolutely right. She's young enough. She's had 2 really bad injuries, right? Both ACLs have been done on both, which isn't great that early in her career.
With modern medicine and training and stuff, you can come back from that now. It's not a big deal.
I mean, maybe I need to give her the benefit of the doubt, and I'll hold my hands up and say I haven't really paid attention. The AEW women's division is one of the weakest divisions I've ever seen in terms of wrestling. It's really poor. Yes. Considering the stars they've got, they've got a Statlander. And don't get me wrong, I do think she's very, very good. I just don't know if I would put her in terms of the best young prospects in wrestling. But again, you've got her, you've got, I've got to mention Sarai, you've got Britt Baker, you've got Toni Storm, you've got Deonna now. They're all there, and it should be one of the stronger divisions there, and it's just not. So I think
because Kenny Omega's booking it.
Yeah, exactly. I think for her to succeed, she would need to go, and potentially that's what she would need to get to that level, as you said. But for me, at the moment, nah.
I think if you picked her up and put her in the NXT women's roster right now, she would. You could line her up with the top 10 women in that division, and she would stand out. She might not be the standout, but if you were to line them up in terms of who's that, she would be towards the top of that 10. Genuinely,
maybe I need to just give her an opportunity. Like I say, I think it had the alien gimmick just for me was like, what the fuck is going on?
I think at the minute she's not getting much match time on big telly. She'll be on dark all the fucking time. Just seek her out and have a look at her, what she looks like today, and just look at what she looks like. She's put on size. She looks like her presentation looks way more seriously, way more serious. I think she builds herself from Long Island now. She's trying to make herself a little bit edgy and that sort of, you know what I mean? But she's got not the stupid face paint. She's still got her personality's in there, but she's jacked and she looks amazing. Genuinely, just have a little look.
Absolutely. Like I say, not on my list at all. I get why she is there. Just something missing for me, and right or wrong, that's what it's all about. It's all about justification, and you justified it, Hoxie. Okay. Moving on to number 10. Now, I think you're going to disagree with me here.
Okay.
I've put wee dirty Dominic Mysterio. At age 26, he is... When he first came in, it was like, holy shit, this guy's he's not got it. It's there's just something missing. When he came in as that like Rocky Maivia type babyface, jumping down to the ring, and the heel turn when he like the spoiled brat turning against Rey Mysterio, the spending one night in like a jail cell, and he was like doing hard time, and that fucking smugness, it's just such a genius character. And, the fact that he hides behind like Rhea, in terms of the mammy gimmick, it adds to that absolute dislike from the audience. It's if you take Mysterio away from it, I think that's what's going to hold him back, if at all, is the Mysterio name, because everybody's going to compare him to Rey, it's never going to happen. He's never going to be Rey Mysterio, right? Yeah. But if you just think of him as Dominic, right? Wee Dom, Dirty Dom, the heat that he can get now, and it's not go away heat anymore. It's actual legitimate heat where he can manipulate the crowd into doing what they want. I think he's never going to be the guy. He's never going to be the big belt champ, but I think he has got potential to go really, really far. And, the last 18 months or so, you've got to say he's got to be one of the key breakout stars in the industry. I think he's so good. He's been up against Cody, he's been up against Seth, he's been up against fucking CM Punk, he's up against, he's been able to learn from some of these great guys in the industry, and he comes from great stock, right? Rey Mysterio.
His genes are good, right?
His genes are great, and I think his future is only bright. I think Triple H is pretty high on him. I think that's key. I think that there's something about Dominic that he's a little prick, right? He's just a wee fucking ball bag, but there's something endearing about that, and you're like, yeah, do I know something? So yeah, I think there is a diamond in that coal, Hoxie. It just needs that little bit of pressure, and the fact that he's in the Judgment Day just now with a Rhea, like we said, a Damian Priest, and also like a Finn Balor Prince, Devitt and JD McDonough as well. I think that's really, really good for him, and he can only get better and better and better. So yeah, my number 10 is wee Dirty Dom.
So I'm not gonna argue against that because he's got a really, really bright future ahead of him. The reason I didn't really think about him for my list, or sort of, he wasn't in like a larger list. I think he's already like on that journey already. If you know what I mean. I think he's probably, compared to my list that I've got in front of me here, he's probably 10 steps ahead of every single one of them, because he's had that introduction. He's been with his dad. He's trained really well. Okay. He's in featured matches. He's in featured storylines. He's in a featured group with the Judgment Day. Like you say, he's headlined like big house shows with Punk, and he's got that heat. I think what I've went for on my list, not like, you know what I mean, is more like they are going to be amazing, or they need a little bit of a push or a bit of a something to get to be in that, and they're going to be that, if you know what I mean. I'm not going to argue. I'm not going to argue against it. I think he's an amazing talent for all the reasons that you said, but I think he's already well on his way. You know what I mean?
It's interpretation of what the list means, right? In terms of top 10 potential stars or breakout stars, because we didn't talk about.
No, we didn't talk about the list. Yeah. You said like, well, what's the criteria? And I was like, justification. And he was like, okay. And that's, we say it all the time. It's become a bit of a meme. It's literally all about the justification. So there isn't like they need to be under 25. They need to have wrestled for less than 3 years. They need to be like, you know what I mean? Like there's nothing that. It's what we think. Yeah, that's a very different.
It's a different interpretation of what we mean.
To my number 10. Yeah.
And I think this is why this is probably, out of all the lists we've done, this is the one that's going to get more discussion from between us and also from people listening, which is really cool. Now, Hoxie's absolutely right. We didn't have any sort of criteria or limiting factors. So I've sort of put a limiting factor on myself. I've said to myself, there's no one over 30. Okay, so 30 was sort of my benchmark. Okay, so 30 and under is where I'm going. and then it's all about justification after that. Hoxie's probably got another sort of criteria he's done for himself, which is absolutely fine. But yeah, my number 10 is Dirty Dom. Like it or lump it, Dom is going to be there for a while, and he's going to be good.
Yeah, he's going to be about for a while. I definitely agree with that. And he's
26 years old, man.
Yeah.
26.
Yeah, that's young.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on. Doing at 26, probably still learning to wipe my own arse at 26. To be fair,
still not learned that properly. No comment. Okay, my number 9 is a female wrestler as well, signed currently to WWE NXT, and it's Sol Ruka. You never heard of Sol Ruka?
No, because she's my number 9 as well.
No fucking way.
She's my number 9.
Fuck off.
How can I show you this without showing you the whole list? I can't.
Holy shit.
Sol Ruka.
Yeah, okay.
What the fuck?
That's fucking insane. Well, there you go.
Go on. Okay. Go on.
24 years old, no wrestling experience at all. She was a gymnast. Yeah, she was a tumbling gymnast. She's picking stuff up so fucking quickly. There's obvious signs that she's a little bit green, right? There's things that she does that, you know, for someone that's watched wrestling a lot, it's like you can see the little bits and pieces, but she's in the best place for her in NXT with the people she's got. You know, she's got one of the greatest professional wrestlers ever, Shawn Michaels, looking over her. Similar sort of style in terms of ability to connect with just athleticism, right? I think that's the best way to describe it. She's got one of the coolest finishers ever. The Soul Snatcher. It's like a front flip cutter. It is cool as fuck.
It's a springboard backflip cutter.
It's
is
just
how would you do
it.
Yeah.
It was actually invented by an independent wrestler called Dante Leon, apparently.
I've heard of Dante. He's a prick.
But he's a fucking bell end. But yeah, it was an independent wrestler called Dante Leon that invented that, apparently. In terms of the future, I think she is... NXT have done really well. We've talked about AEW's women division being really poorly booked, and like, you know, they've got some stars there, but there's no one feeding into it. NXT have done such a fantastic job of their women's division, right? There's so many stars that are growing in NXT and will eventually be on the main roster as the next generation of talent, and she is one of them. The only thing for me that she needs to improve on really well is her mic work. She needs to learn how to cut a promo. I think she's got all the hallmarks of being an absolute superstar. Fucking phenomenal.
She's a young girl. She's a very young being, and she's been thrust into this world of wrestling. You can forgive her for taking a bit of time to get on the mic.
Yep.
You've got the three things. You've got the ability, and you've got the look, and you've got the mic work. She's probably halfway there on the third thing. She looks incredible.
Different class.
Yeah, it's not like, you could use the term like white meat baby face, like mega for this girl. But she's different. She's got a look about her. You could say, oh, there's lots of blonde like body like types in wrestling or whatever. She's got something different about that. That sort of like the beach style hair. You mean like she's not plain Jane. She's not like perfectly beautiful straight hair, like all full makeup. Like she there's something about her. It's like a different look.
She's alternative without being dark alternative. Does that make sense? She's not like a Rhea Ripley alternative.
That's a great shout. Yeah, she's like it's like Tony Hawk's Pro Skater wrapped up into a person. If that person was jacked and really fit, you know what I mean? It's crazy. Yeah, she's cool, man. And like, yeah, her finish is amazing. That reverse, the springboard backflip cutter thing is fucking cool as fuck. It's so sick.
You know what she reminds me of? You know what reminds me of? Her sort of like ring gear reminds me of NXT Bailey. You know, the Bailey that used to the hugger. You know, that's the sort of like look at it.
She's bushy-tailed.
Yeah, she's taking that sort of mantle over. That she's going to be really down with the kids, right? She's going to be the women wrestler that all the little girls aspire to be. You know, with all due respect to like a Rhea or a Becky Lynch, they probably don't aspire to be someone like her when they're like that age. You know, like when they're 5, 6, 7, they don't aspire to be that, but they can probably identify a bit more with that sort of Sol Ruka like, or the former Bailey, the hugger Bailey. Yeah, I think she's an absolute talent. She's going to sell an absolute fuck ton of merchandise.
She's going to make a fortune.
She's
going to make a fortune. Yeah, she's going to be huge. She's going to be huge. Yeah,
massive.
I can't believe we had her both as
That's
number
insane.
9.
Absolutely insane. She's been she was my number 9 from the get go. Like my 10 and 9 were solid. That's so cool.
It's crazy.
Once again, like, guys, we do not share our lists at all.
We
genuinely don't. It's fucking crazy.
We don't mention any names at all.
No.
Nothing. We do not talk about this at all. We know the list, and we tell each other if we've had a rough one or we've got loads, but we never mention any names. Never mind fucking numbers. That's
What's the chances of, like, fair enough when you're talking about like top Intercontinental champions or top WWE champions of all time,
amazing pay-per-views or whatever. Yeah.
Like, that makes sense.
Pretty close on number 1 a few times, haven't we? So yeah,
we're talking about fucking random young prospects. That's just fucking insane. Okay, moving on swiftly to your number 8, Hoxie.
My number 8. Sorry, I'm still like blown away by that. That's crazy. My number 8 is another AW wrestler. Quite a recent sort of acquisition for AW. And that's Konosuke Takeshita, Japanese prospect, 20 years old from Osaka. Got signed over by, I know he was doing stuff in DDT. I know he still does some stuff in DDT, but the faster they can get him away from that, the better.
Yep.
I think they signed him in like 2021, 2022, or maybe 2-3 years or whatever. But he is going to take over the mantle. The reason I'm putting him on this is because for the first time I ever saw him wrestle, it was like looking at Okada when he was younger. He is going to be the second coming. And I don't usually like, people always say that, like what? He's the second coming of such and such, or he's going to be this guy, or he's going to be the new Kurt Angle, or the new whatever, whatever. I don't necessarily like that, but he's a tall guy, like he's over 6 foot. He's a big, like he looks good. He's a big body guy. As a face, he's got fire. As a heel, he's got fucking heat. Like his facials and everything are amazing. He's a really, really top quality fucking wrestler. Like he can go, man. He's so good. He's such a good worker. I think I'm probably gonna say this a couple of times tonight, and I'm not shitting on AEW. We do this enough, but I'm not doing it because of that. He needs to get away from getting in his own way and getting talked around to doing stuff by guys who don't necessarily know more than others. If he went to an NXT and he went to an AEW, or he went to New Japan and got trained and taught about the wrestling business, the sky is the limit with Takeshita. He's phenomenal. The heel work he's been doing with Don Callis and stuff recently, he just come out and stand. All you need to do is just come and stand in the ring. You'll get booed. I know that's become like a bit of a meme lately, hasn't it? With Dom and with Don and Dom and Don Callis and their little crew and stuff. But some of the matches he's had in AEW, he is really, really, really good. Really good. He could be the next number 1 Japanese talent in the world. He just needs to go and learn from bigger people, basically. But number 8, he was 100% on my list straight away. I rate him. I've always rated him. He just needs to go and learn his craft. He'd be phenomenal.
He was on my wider list. He got taken off pretty late on. I think he just needs to get away from Don Callis. There's just something about Don that I just don't like.
I think he's doing charisma.
Yeah, exactly. I agree with you. He's a super, super talented boy, and AEW is the place for alternative style. But I think he's main event star written all over him. Right? It's just he's easy
6 foot. 6'3", 6'4". He's a big lad. Is he going to be on Wiki? I'll be honest with you. When I first saw this guy's name on Twitter a few years ago, I thought somebody was like playing like a Jim Cornette rib, because he always takes some of the Japanese stuff with that name, but he wasn't. But yeah, he's 231 pounds and he's 6'2". So he's going to be 6 foot and about 215, 220. Basically, that's usually what happens. You take 10 or 15 off and a couple of inches in height. That's blue chip for me in wrestling nowadays. When you look at some of the guys, and he stands out when he's in a ring with anybody. He looks like he stands out. He's a standout. He's got it. He really has.
Looks like a star, man. Looks like a star. Okay. Moving on swiftly then to my number 8. So that's how it went. Yep, that's me. I've actually went for one half of a tag team just now. It's actually Julius Creed, age 29, one half of the Creed brothers from NXT. Absolute athlete. He was originally scouted by Gerald Briscoe at the NCAA Division 1 Championships. Like, he is an ACC heavyweight champion, NCAA Division 1 All-American twice, Division 1 Academic All-American 3 times. He's just a fucking athlete. He can go, man. Now, the Creed brothers as a tag team are fucking phenomenal, but he has the potential. We always go back to the Shawn Michaels and Marty Jannetty, right? He has the potential to be the Shawn Michaels of that tag team, because he's big, he's strong, he's technical, he's athletic. They're a one-time NXT Tag Team Championship. They won the Dusty Rhodes Tag Classic, but he has this spot that he does consistently, maybe too often. It's he German suplexes someone and kips up, and then German suplexes someone else and then kips up, and he does it like 6 or 7 times. The fucking athleticism is insane. If you haven't
I've seen a clip of that. Yeah.
If you haven't seen him, you would have seen this one. He had a guy in an ankle lock, right? An NXT tag team match. He had a guy in an ankle lock, and he power bombed the other opponent one-handed while still having the guy in the ankle lock. It is one. If you haven't, it's fucking one of the most insane things you'll ever see in your life.
I think I might have found this clip. He's in a cage match.
Yeah, cage match. I want to see your reaction.
Sorry. What?
How fucking insane is that? I can't believe I haven't sent you that.
Holy shit! That is. I'm watching it again. Sorry. That is. And then he gets the ankle up back on. That is actually one of the most amazing things I've ever seen in a wrestling ring.
So good, right? Like, he was going to be on my list from the get-go, and if he does nothing else, that fucking clip that you've just watched is the reason he's on the list for me. Just pure athlete. I know it's a spot, right? We know it's a spot, but what a fucking spot. It's like...
There's a comment on here, the Creed brothers are the children of Kurt Angle when he was in his Perk Angle days.
But, it's like, we talk about moments making wrestlers. That's something that can make that could make him, I'm thinking about when he eventually goes up to the main roster. He's going to go up as a tag team, which is fine. The Creed brothers are great. But when he eventually goes solo, I'm just thinking of the matches he could have with a Chad Gable or, a fucking Gunther. Or, just obviously Gunther's going to go main event, but, just thinking of those matches he could have, like a Finn Balor, like the Usos, some of the stuff that those fuckers can do is going to be insane. And I think for him at 29, he's getting into the sort of the peak years where he can be phenomenal. And I think he is definitely one to watch over the next couple of years. Fucking great talent.
Creed, yeah.
Julius Creed.
There we go. I'll be absolutely honest with you. I've seen the clip of him doing the German thing. I've seen that. but I've never seen any of their matches. I've never seen anything else that they've done. Their name, this is going to sound really bad, their name gives me the ick. It really, it's like go away heat for me. Julius and Brutus Creed do not match their look or their personality or the talent. Or the talent at all. It's a very, very, very odd name, but I'll definitely be more interested. And if Jerry Briscoe has basically pushed these guys, then they're all right in my book.
So he was the one. Gerald Briscoe saw Julius Creed at, like, say, at the NCAAs, and then he got the trial for NXT like they usually do, and then Julius, like, I can't even remember his real name, but he like requested his brother. Yeah, well, there you go. He then like requested his brother get a trial as well, and he obviously got in as well. And yeah,
so they're legit brothers as well.
Yeah, they're legit brothers. Yeah, shoot brothers. But yeah, different class.
That powerbomb thing is genuinely one of the most amazing things I've ever seen.
It's just pure athleticism and strength.
I've never seen anything like that ever. Do you know what? Fuck, I'm going to watch it again. Is that Sam Gradwell he's got? It's the English lad, isn't it? Yeah. That is... He's getting up. I'm just going to break this down really quickly.
Yep.
So he is getting up there for him. So he's giving him a post. But
you expect that, right?
But that's...
How hard is that to do, Hoxie?
To do a power bomb on somebody it's not hard, if you know what I mean. It's a difficult move to perform. The hardest bit is when they're up there, because it's stopping. There's so much momentum to get somebody up. So when they're up, it's stopping that momentum from them fucking off behind you. What usually happens is your head's in the way, so that helps, and they can grab, and you can grab around their waist. For him to do that with one hand, so he's going up onto one shoulder, so he's not going up onto two shoulders with the head blocking, and he's using his strength to stop that momentum. That is genuinely, that's one of the most amazing things I've seen in a wrestling ring in my life. It's ridiculously difficult. Also, if anybody ever said to me like, "Oh, I've got an idea," I'd be like, "What? No." Dude, that's amazing. No more secret clips of Julius Creed, okay? I need to see every single one of them. You need to send them all.
Jason thought I would have sent that to you. I apologise. It's my bad. My bad.
That's amazing. What an unbelievable spot that is. Unbelievable spot. Fair play. Yeah.
Yep. So
I can't even argue against it because I don't really know, but just based on that, he should be your number one. Fuck it.
So moving on to my number 7 then. It's a female wrestler from TNA. It's Thick Mama Pump, Jordan Grace. There's no fucking shot. Number 7.
Yes!
Fuck off.
Dude, I promise you. I fucking promise you. Hold on. We're just going to... Like a little peek behind the curtain here, right? We're not gonna Oklahoma this. I'm literally gonna take this. Is gonna be a live. This is gonna be a live thing, okay?
So basically, for those watching, we said Oklahoma, and we've said Oklahoma a few times that you might have heard if we haven't edited it out. Basically, that's our code word for when we need to stop to go pee or get a drink or whatever. So that's our Oklahoma moment, right? He's just sent me a picture of it. Give me a sec.
I'm going to send you both of them so you don't think I'm lying. Now, what I've done is I've covered it up with some paper, look, so you can't see what's going on.
Fucking hell, man, that's crazy. So fuck me, that's crazy. Jordan Grace, 27 years old, thick mama pump.
Fuck's sake, mate.
What can we say? She's a major talent, right? She's fucking great in the ring. She's got that powerhouse style, similar to like a Scott Steiner, right? She's got that she doesn't look like Scott Steiner, but she's got the build and she's got the, you know what I mean?
It's close enough.
It's close enough. She's a unique athlete. You know, it's fucking great. She had the best performance in WWE Royal Rumble. She was, for me, other than Chelsea Green for different reasons.
Yeah.
Jordan Grace was the performer for me in the Royal Rumble. She was the
highlight. Yeah. Yes.
Absolutely. Yes. I always think that TNA or Impact Wrestling or TNA now, they're sort of going to become a feeder. It's sort of like a feeder club in football, right? If you can make it in like a TNA, right, then you're going to go into like one of the bigger promotions. Like AEW is a bigger promotion than TNA, right? It just is. But WWE is the pinnacle. If you can make it in a TNA, you're going to go up to that next level, right? That's the next stage in your career. And if Jordan Grace isn't in WWE by the time she's in her 30s, like 31, 32, I'd be very, very surprised, because she is a phenomenal, phenomenal talent. Incredible.
When you pitched the idea of doing like future talents, she was the first name on my list.
Yeah.
Obviously she's not top, but she was the first name to go on to that. I was like, okay. And it was, I know she's been good. And she is, if you looked at her when she first came into the business, like some of the stuff she was doing when she was like early on in her TNA and like on the indies and stuff, her change as well in terms of presentation, her change in terms of look, her change in terms of attitude, ability, like she's everything that an independent wrestler should do if they want to make it. And she's still on that journey. I mean, she's only 27. She's 27 years old. She's played an absolute masterstroke by marrying Jonathan Gresham, because not only did she marry and find the love of her life, she's just got free training by one of the best wrestlers in the world, which is just like an amazing thing. But as soon as you said future, and it is literally the 95% of my reasoning is that Royal Rumble feature. Just an incredible performance. She, like you said, we just said standout. She was the standout thing. Yeah. And to have her come in, and obviously they're high on her. They must have been. Obviously, they've been watching her for a while. They don't. We said this at the time when we were talking about the Royal Rumble. We'd done the review, didn't we? When somebody comes in from outside of the WWE, it's very rare or never that they get featured that much. And in one of their biggest pay-per-views, Royal Rumble, she was featured highly. Big high spots. She was in there a long time. She got rid of people. She was featured with top talent. Yeah.
Her elimination was strong.
If the WWE are high on her, then we all should be high on her. And she's got a great future in this business. Yeah.
No, it coincides with what we said about Sol Ruka as well, right? It's if you're a women wrestler, a female wrestler, right? You've got to be alternate. There's got to be something different about you, okay? Because there are hundreds and thousands of beautiful women, right? You know what I mean? It's like, but as soon as you have a Jordan Grace or a Rhea Ripley or a Sol Ruka, or, you know, just something alternate, it's something that you want to make the eyes go to you. And she has that. It's just this, it's the it factor. She has it. Don't know what it is, but she's got it.
She's got it.
And yeah, she's bound to have a massive career in the future. She will leave TNA at some point, obviously, and I think it's destiny for her to come to WWE.
I think it's as soon the day after her TNA contract finishes, she will be at the Performance Center.
100%.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or maybe the day of. Like,
Bye.
Jordan Grace. Both of our number sevens.
Number 7, there you go. I genuinely didn't think we'd have any the same, Hoxie.
No.
I genuinely didn't. I didn't think that. Maybe we'd have one or two, but definitely
but you called it at the start. You're like, this is going to be like completely different. Like, blah, blah, yeah. We've got two in the same fucking spot.
Fucking hell.
This is fucking hilarious.
Crazy. Okay, moving on to your number 6 then, because we've already done your number 7.
Now. I'm so worried about this now. My number 6, we spoke about him earlier on tonight. I'm worried. I'm looking at your face on the camera. It is Austin Theory.
No,
he's not on. Okay, we're okay. We're safe. I think he still is, even though we've spoken about this before. They've dropped the ball with this guy. He has got shit stain all over him because of he's a Vince boy, basically. He was like handpicked to be the next guy. And I know Vince is a crazy old bastard. But when you look at why he picked Austin Theory and who he's picked in the history of WWE, who were going to be like the Austin Theory guy, you can see why. And it's really strange that the guys who are running the gaff now don't treat him like that or see it the same way. They probably do. They're probably just teaching him a lesson, maybe, or whatever. Austin Theory was on the show The Wrestlers, which was like a docuseries that came out when he was like, what, fucking 18, 19 or something? Like, he was just getting a start in the business. And you could see back then, because he was wrestling around Georgia and he was doing a lot with the independent circuit. He was trained by A.R. Fox, who wrestled, has done some stuff in AEW. And there's lots of new guys, lots of independent wrestlers, lots of new independent wrestlers who cite A.R. Fox as their trainer and like their sort of mentor, which is very interesting because A.R. Fox has been around a long time, and he's never really got that opportunity, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
It's an interesting way things work sometimes. He's probably 10 years too late himself. But Austin Theory, back to Austin Theory, he looks insane. He's a good-looking guy. He can work his socks off. He's athletic. He's quick. He can talk on the mic. He's got smugness as a heel. He can be a face. He's got $1 million smile, $1 million body, $1 million work ethic. He can go. What else do you need from him? You know what I mean? He's young. He's 26 years old still. He's a taller guy. He's 6 foot, at least 6 foot. So he's credible to people, especially nowadays. He got the push, brother, from Vince to be that guy. He got a phoned-in match with Cena at WrestleMania, which I thought was embarrassing, to be fair. Cena could have really, really gave him a leg up, but he didn't, which was a strange one. But what he needs to do is he needs to go away for a bit. He might need to go away and learn a new hold. So I'm not saying to sack him, but just like hiatus him or whatever and go and let him go to CMLL or let him go to New Japan or just let him go to TNA, whatever, and just go and learn a new hold and find out a little bit more about himself. Bring him back and skyrocket him straight to the top because he has got every single thing that you need to be successful. I'm going to go out on a limb right now, and this is going to be a really strong set, really, really stiff and strong. He has got John Cena talent for me. He could be top guy in WWE. He really could. He just needs to be pushed there, basically, and let him get there. But he needs to go away. He can't stay there and do what he's doing right now. He needs to go away, come back. We can't miss you if you don't go away, but he needs to come back with a new look, slightly new attitude, but just do more of the same of what he's doing. He's amazing talent. Yep.
I'll mention him later on.
There we go.
Yeah.
People might disagree with what I've just said about the whole Cena thing, but I can see it in my mind's eye, in my little mind's eye. I can see it. Austin Theory, number 6.
Fair enough, Hoxie. Excellent shout, Mr. Austin Theory, number 6. My number 6 is, again, someone we have mentioned before, and that's why I was panicking. That's
When
why
I
I was
looked
like,
at you,
oh,
were
shit.
like, "Ooh, yeah."
My number 6 is your mate, Tyler Bate. He is just too good not to be a star. And the thing that is that's for him just now is Triple H is doing the booking, and Triple
Yeah.
H is high as shit on him.
Yeah.
And with Triple H booking him, the sky's the limit. I think both him and Pete Dunne, now I don't have Pete Dunne on my list, but both him are going to be ones to watch in the future, like really immediate future. I think it's going to be happening. The performance at Elimination Chamber was really strong, and we spoke about it in the Elimination Chamber thing. They were put over strong by commentators, but it wasn't just the run of the mill put over. They were put over. Yeah. Do I think he'll ever win the big belt? No, I don't. Right. But we said it before, you don't have to have the big belt to be a star. And again, you may agree, disagree, and this goes to the listeners as well. He could be this generation's Mr. Perfect. You know, where he doesn't need the belt, but his matches are so good and so solid. The sort of Intercontinental title or like the US title, that's as far as he needs in terms of gold around him. He doesn't need it just because he is so super talented. And I'm really excited to see what's going to happen. And I reckon the next 12 to 18 months, you're just going to see him being pushed and pushed and pushed.
Okay. He's not on my list.
Okay.
I feel bad for him not being on my list because I love him. As I said earlier on, I love him to bits. He's a top guy. I genuinely think if they wanted to do this, he could be. I'm not going to say going to be the next, or he's going to be the whatever. He could be a Rey Mysterio level kind of guy, where he could sell a shitload of merch. He could relate to the kids. He could relate to the smaller guy because he is small, short, but he's jacked to the fucking gills. He'll throw me about, no fucking doubt, as he's already done. That scar on my wrist with the plates holding my forearm and my wrist together. A little prick done that to me, so well, kind of done it to myself on him, but there we go. But he could be, if they packaged him and presented him in a certain way, he could tick all those boxes in terms of like relating, getting that the kids, you know, and not like the kids like, yeah, we love that, like the fucking merch, the mask, the mustache, the whatever you wanted to do, like the mustache mounting thing, the mind's eye stuff he's doing, whatever you wanted to do with Tyler Bate, you could do it, and he could pull it off.
He's only 26, man. That's the reason. That's probably one of the main reasons he's on my list, because he's still
really young. Yeah.
He's still so young. Can you imagine how if he is still pushed the way he's going to be pushed by Triple H 4, 5, 6 years time? Fucking hell.
He's always going to be. I don't want him to be this. This is what I'm saying. Tyler, if this ever makes it to you, it won't. But if you ever listen to this, I fucking love you, mate. Genuinely, I love you to bits. Okay, and I'm not saying this. I'm not being a prick. I promise you, I'm not being a prick. He's too short to in the WWE. He's too short to be a guy. I know he can work, and he's had amazing matches against like Gunther in NXT. I was there for the Gunther match that he had at the takeover, the UK takeover. It was just insane match. But they won't let him do that on the main roster. He won't be at a SummerSlam wrestling Gunther in a 25-minute match for the IC belt. Like it won't. They won't do. They wouldn't do it. They wouldn't do it.
See if it was like 4 or 5 years ago, I would agree with you. I think it's a different time, Hoxie. Different time.
I think it's a it's a different time. The more things change, the more they stay the same. I think. I know that there's different stuff that's happening. They are having incredible matches with a Devitt with a. I always call him Devitt because his fucking WWE
Finn
name's
Balor.
stupid. It's so stupid. Fucking Finn Balor. Fuck. What the fuck is Balor? What is that? Anyway, but Balor's like probably 2-3 inches taller than him, whatever. He just looks different. He looks a different way. But I think he's just he's too short. He's too short for it. And I hate that. I hate it. Yeah. Sorry. It sounds so negative. And I'm being like really bad. I'm not shitting on him at all. Like I feel embarrassed talking about it like this. But I genuinely don't think he will get a push. You said earlier on about them getting the tag titles. I would love to see it. Fuck me, I would love to see it. I'd love to see him airplane spin into it. Like, you know, I mean, they do that Tyler Driver finish that he does, the Tyler Driver 97 or whatever with Pete's like into it and his finish into it. And I would love to see them hit that on someone and get the free count on a fucking pay-per-view. It would be amazing. It would be so good.
I smell a Mu 10 bet coming on here.
I
bet
want it. I want it to happen. So I'll take a bet with you and I'll make the bet really easy. I really, really, really want it to happen more than anything because like we've spoke about this. The honourable mention was that match that they had for the UK title. I cried my fucking eyes out.
Yeah.
I was so proud of them. So proud of Tyler. I couldn't be more made up and happy for this kid. Genuinely, I love him to bits. He's one of the nicest guys, one of the nicest kids you'll ever meet in your life. I think in the land of, and WWF always gets titled as this and labeled as this, in the land of the giants. And I know the business is different than it was, but it's not that far off. In the land of the giants, I don't think he gets there. I'd love him to, but I don't think he does. And it's tragic because he's fucking phenomenal. Yeah.
By the end of 2024,
okay,
Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne will be tag team champions.
Okay. Like it's not an argument against for me, so it's not really a bet.
If I'm wrong,
yeah,
I don't know. What's
you will come on here and apologise for being wrong because we can't put anything really bad on that because I want it to happen as well.
Exactly right. We'll do that. I'll apologise if I'm wrong, but I'm not going to be wrong. I'm fucking Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne. It would be fucking phenomenal. Yeah. But I just think he's just too good not to be a star. And who it doesn't need to be WWE, right? It's in wrestling. He could be a star somewhere else. He could go and just rocket to the moon. We'll wait and see. Who knows?
He could go to, obviously lower hanging fruit, he'll go to AEW and he'll be throwing people around and he'll get over as fuck, right?
Yeah.
If he went to New Japan, he could be a Dean Malenko. Like he could be one of these guys which goes to Japan as a gaijin and be different. He's like a jacked up Zack Sabre Jr. just goes there and ties people in knots and throws them around on the red and just beats people up. Like and New Japan would be perfect for him because he wouldn't have to. I'm not saying he's bad on the mic or whatever, but he wouldn't have to speak. Like he would just go there and his work would get him over. Like it would be fucking amazing. I'm just looking at on this, mate. There's a picture. You type Tyler Bates' name into Google and click on images. There's a picture of him standing there next to Bron Breakker. It's like third row down, right in the middle on Google. On my page, anyway. I've got like a minimized thing. Now just look at the difference. Bron Breakker's not the tallest guy in the world.
Yeah.
Look at the difference there. Like, and I know I'm not shitting on the little guy or whatever, but there's a couple of pictures when he's like standing next to him, like Bron looks twice the size of this guy. It's just the way it is. It's sad. It really is. It's not about the size of the dog and the size of the fight and the dog and all that sort of stuff, whatever, but it'll only get you so far.
Luckily, this is my list and not anyone else's. So Tyler Bate is my number 6.
We've spoken about Tyler more than anything on this show so far.
Yeah,
which is nice.
That's what it's about. It's about phenomenal wrestling, right? That's what we like, and he is in that bracket of a phenomenal wrestler. Okay, so what we usually do now is we take a quick break and we talk about either something that's wrong in wrestling, something that is newsworthy, a whole host of different things. And I recently sat down. It's been the first time in a while, and I sat down and I watched an episode of Dynamite. Okay, so I usually watch like the highlights, etc., of it, and can form my opinions that way. But I haven't watched a full episode of Dynamite in such a long time. But I've recently done it because it's obviously the build up to the Sting retirement. It's really, really important. Now, we're going to talk a little bit about. It's not going to be. I don't think it's going to be a long discussion, but it's something I messaged Hoxie when I was watching Dynamite, and it's about a particular character that we've both shat on a little bit. Yeah, I mean we have. There's an opinion, and I came to the realization we're shitting on the gimmick and not the wrestler per se. And we're going to talk about Orange Cassidy. Okay? Now, we've got very strong opinions on Orange Cassidy, right? And the gimmick is absolutely fucking horrendous. Terrible. Like, should never be allowed in a wrestling ring in its life, right? But he recently, on the episode of Dynamite, so this would have been when this was released probably 2 ago, he had a match with Mike Bennett. Mike Bennett's very good in the ring. Yeah, he is very good. And his match was actually really, really good. I took a step back, ignored the gimmick. Orange Cassidy actually sells really well. His offense is actually pretty good. His fucking Superman punch is horrific. But by the by, general offense is actually good. And like I say, the downside for me is his gimmick. There were 2 points in the Mike Bennett match that really, really fucked me off, right? Mike Bennett was down in the corner and he did the Orange Cassidy slow kicks. It was like, the little taps. It's like, for me, that's fuck off. Like, fuck off, heat, go away, right? But he sped up into proper, like, stomping a mud hole in the corner and it looked good, right?
Fire.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm sorry, see this hands in the pockets thing? I just don't get it. It's like, the fuck is going on? It's like,
you wouldn't do it in a real fight, would you?
No, it's like. No. But for me, there's something there with Orange Cassidy that is he going to be the guy? No, he's not. But he's a solid hand, in my opinion. Hoxie, thoughts?
I think so. I've just gone back to the conversation.
Yep.
And I'm going to read out the message that you sent me. And I'm going to read out the replies that we that we go. So we'll talk about it more, but this is how this goes. So you know what is fucking annoying about Orange Cassidy? He has bits of his matches where he sells really well. Some of his proper offense is decent. It is all the bullshit he puts amongst it completely over as I put. Yep, couldn't agree more. As an underneath babyface, he could be a goer. 100%. But his gimmick is the drizzling shits. Anyway, we need to talk about this on Thursday. So that was the conversation. And it really is. That is like if you strip away all the bullshit, like you say, the selling, his facials, his movement, his movement around the ring, his hope spots, his comebacks, his near falls, like has an underneath baby face. When we talk about underneath babyface, a face who fights against the odds, who comes from underneath, who's always fighting and scrapping to get back at that person who gets pushed down and pushed down and pushed down by the bigger heel or the cheating heel or whatever. As an underneath babyface, he has all of the tools to be able to be good. And it is the shit that covers it up. The hand pockets thing is annoying because all wrestling is fixed. Okay, it's predetermined, but the best stuff that you see is portrayed like a fight, like a battle between people. Okay, if you were in the street and you were about to have a fight with somebody, you would not put your hands in your pockets unless you were like fucking Jackie Chan or something. You know what I mean? Like an absolute beast, and you knew more than anybody ever in the world. But you wouldn't put your hands in your pockets. So fight like a real person would fight. The slow kick thing is like, oh, he's getting into the head of his opponent, and like, no, the guy stood literally 6 inches in front of him. He's got his hands in his pockets and he's kicking him slowly in the shin. If that was some dickhead in a pub with me, go would kick me in the shin, they'd be getting a slap, or a punch, or a push, or a what the fuck you doing, or a nut. It's silly. It really is silly. But like you say, he's got all of the tools there. His moveset is mint, apart from that Superman punch, which is dreadful. But the orange crush that he does, like when he does like because he's lucha trained, like he can work that style, and he weaves it in and out of his matches. I think there was a Revolution pay-per-view. I'm sure it was Revolution pay-per-view a few years ago. It might have been like one of the first ones back after COVID when all the audiences started coming back. He had a match against Pac.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Fucking
so good,
phenomenal match. Obviously, Pac can go. Like, you know what I mean? He's very, very good. But Jesus, man, like the match that they had was crazy, and it was probably the best match that Orange Cassidy has had in AEW, because they did do a few little of the bad things, but it was serious. Like Pac made it serious. Like he let Orange get his shit in, and then he was like, "Okay, I've had enough of this." And then he stopped it. Bang! This is real now. Let's stop fucking about and let's have a match. And I think when he has that brought out of him, he's brilliant. He could have a match with any heel on the card, and if you presented him, if you took away the pockets and the kicks, and just like you can do the thumbs up thing and the no, you know what I mean, carry the belt with you in the bag and like do all that. That's fine, but when you get in there, make it just do what you do well.
Cut the bullshit,
and he could be, he is going to be the tippy top guy at some point. He's going to get the title. He's Tony's favorite fucking toy in his toy box. He's definitely going to win the big title at some point.
I mean, he's got a good look, right? I mean,
if like you say, if you were taking away the shit, if he was credible, if he was a credible performer, if he was a credible professional wrestler, I'd have no issue with him winning the big belt. If you put him against like a quote unquote monster heel, if you got real heat in a match, it'd be great. It'd be great against all odds, fighting from underneath, coming up from nowhere, and bang, getting the win. Brilliant. But at the minute, excuse me, and the way he's been presented lately, not for me.
Not for me. Yeah, so that's what we do with Orange Cassidy. We're just really conscious that we don't want to be known as like the podcast that shits on AEW constantly, right?
Oh, I've got no problem in that.
Okay. Well, as I try and grow our socials, I don't want to... God damn! But no, it's like...
No, I know.
We realise we are quite WWE heavy. It's just the season that we're in, and, you know, we are talking negative about AEW. We say it almost every other week.
Yeah.
We want AEW to succeed, right?
It's coming from a good place.
100%.
It's coming from a good place. It really is.
I like to think of it as constructive criticism, okay?
Exactly.
We have been fans of wrestling for all our life, right? For, you know, we've talked about it, our sort of how wrestling's impacted our lives at different stages.
Over 30 years. Over 30
Exactly.
years.
Well over 30 years as a wrestling fan. And we like the old school, hard-hitting storytelling. We love a high spot, but there's got to be a happy medium, right? And for us, AEW is missing the mark. And Orange Cassidy is never going to be in our opinion, he should never be the guy, but he's definitely a guy. He's got the potential to be a guy within that company. They have got bona fide stars that they can make the guy, but he needs a repackage. And I agree with you. He's Tony Khan's favourite toy. That repackage isn't going to come anytime soon.
Nope.
It is what it is, but they're definitely missing a trick with Orange Cassidy because, again, merch-wise, he could make up. Well, I assume he is, but
he is. He's one of the big merch movers.
He's big star, a potential big star there, and just think shitting the bed ever so slightly. Okay, moving on. We're going back to our list of top 10 prospects in the wrestling business. As I've said before, this is either stars that have the potential to be the next big thing, or they maybe are already wrestlers, but they are going to dominate because of their look, because of their ability for years to come. And we're heading into the top 5 now, and I think it's still me, Hoxie. My number 5 is someone we have mentioned tonight and also in the past. I'm putting Logan Paul on that list. Logan Paul has got to be there as prospect. And now I know we've had this discussion before in terms of Dom, he's already there, but we're talking about someone that has had 6-7 matches. Can you imagine what he's going to be like in 2, 3, 4 years? Now, obviously, he is a social media star, right? He's got so many different businesses on the outside. Is he going to be a wrestler full time? I don't know. But for me, Logan Paul is the quickest to take on the wrestling business and do it well that I can remember. Like, Kurt Angle is usually the benchmark. I would say that Logan Paul is potentially up there, maybe even surpassing him in terms of the matches that he's had in such a short space of time. You think of the roll call of matches he's had. He's had The Miz, Seth Rollins, Rey Mysterio, Roman Reigns, and more recently Kevin Owens, Bobby Lashley, Randy Orton. It's the who's who of wrestling in modern wrestling, and each one of his matches get better and better and better. And he understands, because of his social media background, and I've said this in previous episodes as well. If you haven't listened to our previous episodes, go back to our back catalogue. His matches do get better and better. He understands how to work the camera. He gets it. He knows where the hard cam is. He knows where to look. He knows how to embrace the camera and elicit a reaction for a crowd that's not in the audience with him. He can speak to the camera, which is really, really cool. He's a brilliant heel. Like, he is the heel you love to hate. Current US champion, unreal. As I said at the beginning, if that is a triple threat match with Kevin Owens and Randy Orton, that will steal the show at WrestleMania. And I think he's obviously, Randy and Kevin Owens are different class, but he's going to have a major proponent in making that match a success. A lot of time for Logan Paul. Bit of a wanker, like years gone by, but in terms of the wrestling business, you can't fault him. End of story.
It's very similar to the point I'm going to make than I made earlier on. I think he's already made it. He's a bigger star than Dominic Mysterio as well. Definitely for me right now, he's already made it. I think you say what he's going to be like in 2, 3, 4 years time or whatever. I think he's got probably a ceiling in terms of the time in which he's going to be around. I think he is going to be probably doing it for 3 years at a top high level. He's going to be amazing, and then he'll be done, and he'll not necessarily go on to something else, but he would have done it. He would have probably done everything that he will be able to do in those 3 years, and he'll go away. He might come back like later down the line, for a one-off shot here, there, and every so often after a few years. But I think in terms of his shelf life, it'll be quite quick. But he is one of the best things in wrestling right now.
Yeah.
In the world, not just the WWE. He's genuinely one of the best things in wrestling. And it makes me feel really strange saying that.
The thing really is, when you say he's only, like, you reckon he's got a shelf life of 3 years or whatever, I think he's getting to the stage now where people don't. I mean, right now he's still associated with the social media thing, but I reckon in 2, 3 years, people will associate him as a wrestler. And because he only started when he was, 27, he doesn't have the miles on the clock that other wrestlers that do the high risk stuff that he does. He doesn't have that same sort of mileage on his body. So I don't know. Depending on how his schedule works and what he agrees with WWE, I think he could be there for a long time. You know, his businesses that he's got running, the social media thing has got a shelf life. We all know that. Mm-hmm. You know, he's got Prime, which is running itself. You know, it's a multi-billion pound industry just now anyway. Wrestling is something he can focus on. It's the athleticism stuff, because he's a legitimate athlete. You know, he done wrestling at college, etc. I don't know. I think we're going to see Logan Paul for a long, long time in wrestling.
Like I if it happens, then I'll be fine for that. You know what I mean? I'm not saying like, oh, I don't want him to be around, because, like I said, I think he's amazing. But I genuinely think he's already. He's not the future. He's the now.
We shall see.
In my opinion.
So it's all about opinions mean everything and nothing at the same time, everybody.
At the same time.
Okay,
exactly.
Moving on to your number 5, Mr. Hawks.
So my number 5 is another person we spoke about a little bit earlier. She was part of the Women's Elimination Chamber match. Is Tiffany Stratton. She has. If you were to build a wrestler from the ground up, if you were to legit, joking aside, but I'll say it anyway. If you were to build a women's wrestler from the ground up and package her together, you would get, out of 5 attempts, you'd probably get Tiffany Stratton in there. She's 24 years old. It makes me sick. It really, really does. She was trained by Ken Anderson and Greg Gagne. So her mom actually reached out to Greg Gagne. Obviously, Greg Gagne's son of Vern Gagne, who's AWA, to train her. So she had a little bit of training before she went, and she was a trampoline gymnast.
Yep.
I mean, okay, like whatever that means, but I've said this a couple of times tonight, and it's the only way that I can fucking think about trying to explain it. She's a blue chipper. She can wrestle. She's got charisma. She's got attitude. She can talk. She can work. She's very green, but she can work. She didn't look massively out of place. Like I said earlier on, she didn't look the greenest in that ring when Naomi was in there. Not in the slightest. She's got a great look. She's absolutely stunning. Like, she's beautiful. She's got sex appeal, but she's not like
trash.
She's not trashy. I was going to say slaggy, but there you go. She's not trashy with it. She's the sky is the limit with Tiffany Stratton, and I think they believe in her. She was in that match. You know what I mean? She's got a good look. She's strong. She's tall. She's credible. There isn't really all of the things that you look for in a star. She's got it, and she's also palled up with Ludwig Kaiser, who's probably going to be another guy who's probably going to have some opportunities as well. So they could be the next power couple in the WWE. Who knows? Who knows? But it's just incredible. Tiffany Stratton, man, she's on the way. She's on the way. She really is.
Talk about her later.
There we go.
Okay, cool. Moving on to your number 4 then, Hawks.
Right. You're going to... I know exactly what you're going to do here. You're going to be like, it? My number 4 is Ricky Starks.
All right.
Now, he's older guy. He got picked up by mainstream wrestling late on. Mm-hmm. I don't know why. I don't know how, and I don't know what the fuck happened for Ricky Starks to not get picked up earlier on. He was... I don't think he started wrestling until he was like a little bit later on anyway. Potentially. Maybe sort of like 20s or whatever. But his main sort of breakout really when he got off the indies was with the NWA. Where they were doing the power on YouTube and stuff, like the National Wrestling Alliance stuff. He was money then. His mic work is amazing. His in-ring work is amazing. His attitude, his charisma, his confidence, like everything you would need from a wrestler, he has it. And it's took him until he's 34 years old, or well, probably 30 years old when he got signed for AW, for people to actually realize how fucking good this guy is. They've missed the boat with him on probably 3 occasions, and that's nothing to do with him at all. The vampire that is Chris Jericho basically took him out of his first push of his first run, by being Jericho basically and sucking all the life out of him. So he really, genuinely, there was a time in 2021, maybe 2022, where he could have been the AW champion, and their crowd would have bought it. If there's anybody who needs to leave that fucking promotion and go somewhere where his talent is going to be appreciated, it's Ricky Starks, and he's definitely up towards the top of my list. He is massively underrated, hugely underrated, and could be an absolute money drawing, money making star as a face or a heel in any promotion, anywhere in the world. But if he goes to the WWE, they'll make him it, and they'll do well. They really will. Ricky Starks, don't be pulling faces and humming and huffing and making noises and whatever you're doing over there. I'm going to die on this hill. You say whatever you want, you'd be talking shit. Starks, number 4. You're the only person who's listening to this podcast right now, or the only person involved in this podcast right now who's making those noises. I guarantee everyone who's listening to this right now, I'm going to look straight into the camera when I say this, I guarantee everyone's going, yeah, Hawksy, you're fucking bang on, mate. You are bang on. They've dropped the ball with him. They've missed the boat a few times. He's money. He's absolutely incredible. Shields, why are you making weird noises? What are you on about?
I agree they've dropped the ball with him, right? Like, there was an opportunity for him to get to that next level. For me, meh. I think... What do I think?
I'm absolutely disgusted. I thought you got it, John. I thought you got it. This will be the last Moo 10 podcast.
Hoxie's going to go along. It's going to be Moo 5.
I couldn't do it without you, John. I couldn't do it without you.
It's a really difficult... I don't see him as a hot prospect. I don't... Is he going to dominate wrestling? No. Has he got talent? Yes, he has. But is he going to be the next big thing? No. He's not.
You could switch out Ricky Starks and LA Knight. You could put them
Fuck
in.
off.
Yep.
There's actually no shot.
Yep.
Nah, absolutely
What has got LA Knight over? What's got LA Knight over?
Well, he's got charisma, he's got personality, he's gold on the mic, he's great in the ring.
Personality, gold on the mic, great in the ring.
You can't compare Ricky Starks and LA
They were
Knight.
both standout talents in NWA. The only difference that they've got is LA Knight's a bit more muscular than him. They have the same charisma, they have the same fucking energy, they have the same mic skills, I would say, in terms of like being smart and cocky and dressing somebody down on the mic if they wanted to, Ricky Starks is better than LA Knight. LA Knight has got an attitude.
Suck my big toe.
Whoa. Let me finish. LA Knight has got more attitude and more sort of like old school attitude than a Ricky Starks. But in terms of mic work, you can't split them.
Oh, Hoxie. Wow.
Can't wait for people to start giving feedback on this. It's going to be insane.
Ricky Starks, right? I agree. He's a talented individual, and Ricky Starks, I agree with you. He needs to leave AEW, and as well documented, he's really close with Cody Rhodes, and I think Cody will make a play as and when for him to come to WWE. He will not make an impact in the main roster of WWE. I'll call it now. There's no shot. He will get lost in the shuffle. Who's he going to go over? Are you saying he's not the guy, so he's going to be a guy? Who is he going to go over in WWE?
There's not many of the guys. That's the difference.
There's
lots of A guys. There's A guys all the way through the roster. Like, he's a big lad. He's best part of 200 pounds. Like, he looks good. He's a good worker.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't do crazy spots. He tells stories in his matches. He's great on the mic. He can talk people into the building. He can talk people into believing what he's saying. He can talk people into believing that what he's going to do. He'll put stuff over. He'll make you want to watch him, whether he's a face or a heel. He'll make you want to watch him. But he doesn't.
But he doesn't.
When he gets given the opportunity, everything that he's done, that what he's been given the opportunity in AEW, he hasn't missed. The only issue he's had is when it's been taken away from him. He's been stopped. He's been stopped by guys who don't want him to get ahead because he's that good. That's the issue that he's had in AEW. He was the best thing about NWA Power. Him and LA Knight were the two standout things. And Ricky Starks, every time he walked onto that screen, everybody in the room and everybody who was watching YouTube at that moment looked at him. Everybody, even when he wasn't talking, everybody was looking at him. He maximizes his minutes. He might have promos that are 2 minutes long. He might have matches that are 2 minutes long, whatever. But every single time he has an opportunity, he smashes it out the park. And if he gets given the right opportunity, he could be huge. He could have been the top tippy top guy in AEW at one point, and they stopped it from happening. He could have had matches against MJF. He could have had insane matches with CM Punk around that time. He could have done really, really good business with Chris Jericho if Jericho got out of his own way. He could have done good business with Kenny. He could have done good business with anybody in that promotion. And it's been stopped because he's too good. They won't be the cool kids anymore. He will. That's why it stopped.
It's all if buts and maybes. I don't know if it's all if buts. If Manny had a dick, she'd be my uncle. I mean, it's like
if Ricky Starks given an opportunity, he'd be the guy. So
okay, right, yeah. Okay, fair enough. Right, let's say he was given that opportunity. But in terms of this list, it's about prospects of the future. I don't see him.
He's 34 years old. If he went to WWE now, he could be in the mix in 3 or 4 years' time. He could be standing opposite side of the ring with the Seth Rollins and having a really, really good feud with the Seth Rollins. I'm going to die on this hill. I'm going to die on this hill, genuinely.
That's absolutely fine. Absolutely fine. I mean, we've done, what are we on episode-wise? 6. I think we're on 13, 14 episodes. This is probably the biggest disagreement we've had in don't see it. Definitely. If he was going to be in the... And 4 is fucking high. 4 is high, man.
I really rate him. I think he's fucking brilliant. I really do.
Fair it
and
is.
I know this list isn't like, the top 10 rated fucking, like, whatever. He genuinely is a star. He really, really is a star. He needed to... he just needed to get the next little, just the tiniest little, and he would have been there. And they
your justification is good, Hoxie. Not for me, but it's going to be interesting to see what the audience thinks. And now, if you are listening to this on Spotify, great. If you're not, if you're listening to any other platform, go over to our Spotify, mark out of 10, hit 5-star review, and I'm going to put a poll at the end of that. There is usually a poll every one. Is Ricky Starks a future prospect in wrestling? Yes or no? Right, well, that's it. That's going to be the question, and then we'll see what the audience does. So please go over and do the poll. There is usually a poll at the end of every episode on Spotify. If you are listening on any other platform, put a comment in, review it, do that sort of stuff. Email us, tweet us, comment on TikTok, because this is definitely going on TikTok. And then
hashtag Ricky Starks.
Hashtag WTF.
Yeah, if you're on YouTube or whatever, drop the comments. Do all that stuff. We know what you need. You know what you need to do. But honestly, I will die on this hill. He's money. He really is.
That's what it's about.
Yeah.
That's why we do the podcast, Toxie. We're not going to fall out over shit like this. It's a case of everybody's entitled to their opinion. I mean, you're fucking wrong, but say it. Okay, moving on. Hoxie's is number 4, Mr. Ricky Starks. Currently in AEW. Where is he going to go next? Who knows? My number 4 is a woman you've mentioned. It's Tiff Stratton. I can't really go much more. Women's a star. Next generation, she's going to be the person. Only been wrestling since 2021. That's mental, right? And she was a standout performer, as I said before, in the Chamber. She looks incredible. Her Swanton Bomb is just fucking different class. It looks immaculate. Her mic work's getting better. She is, her moveset's cool. She's got that attitude. She's got the look and the attitude where it sort of reminds me, remember Trish Stratus when she was the heel? When she first started, she's got a similar sort of look. It's got that vibe. She's got that there. And if she's anything like Trish Stratus, it's going to be like rocket to the moon. Incredible person. So yeah, number 4 for me is Tiff Stratton. 24 years of age, mental.
The thing about these people who have done things before. So she was it trampoline gymnast or whatever. Yeah. We have some other people on the list like Sol Ruka. She's got like a
gymnast
sports,
as well, yeah.
Like a gymnastic background. These coachable people. It doesn't matter if you were a wrestler on the indies. Before people started training to be a wrestler, they weren't wrestling either. So you don't. I get really annoyed when people are like, "Well, they haven't come from the indies." Well, you didn't come straight out of the fucking womb dropping a body slam or a leg drop on your fucking mom, did you? You know what I mean? It's ridiculous. So, these coachable people, they can be coached to do anything. And I think rather than just getting swimsuit models or whatever, they might not have done any sports in their life, which is what the Diva generation was mostly around. They go into these NCAA, Bianca Belair was track and fucking powerlifting. You know what I mean? These people have coachable backgrounds, and that's all wrestling is. It's being coached to do something. So if you are coachable and you listen and you apply yourself, you're going to go far. And the thing about the guys on this list, like a Tiffany Stratton or a Sol Ruka or whatever, they've got a little bit of something extra, and it's cool. It's special. Yeah.
Really, really special, yeah. Awesome. Yeah, I'm not going to spend a lot more time on it because you've analysed it perfectly, Hoxie. Okay, moving on to my number 3 then. Now, my top 3 have pretty much been set, and it's down to, again, interpretation of what the list
justification
is.
Yeah.
Interpretation of what the list is and my justification. Now, this is a person we have talked about a lot and is already a star in his own right. We think he's fucking phenomenal, and I think he is going to rule wrestling for the foreseeable future. And it's Mr. MJF, Maxwell Jacob Friedman. Fucking absolute best in the business currently, and he will rule it for years and years and years. He is an AEW world champion, only one time, which is absolute sacrilege. He's been an Ring of Honor Tag Team Champion with Adam Cole. He's won the Dynamite Diamond Ring thing like 3 times or whatever it is, so it doesn't really matter. But if you think of that, the fact that he hasn't won titles and he's still so fucking over is ridiculous. He's just... We've talked about him so much in the past, you know.
Yeah.
His character work as that character of MGF is flawless. I cannot think of a negative around it. He's a great heel in every aspect of it. The heel promos, it just comes naturally. He just oozes absolute wankness, right? He's just he wins dirty. It's like even on. He is the character on social media and meet and greets. He just takes the piss out of people meeting him, or he belittles folk in social media. It's like the best heel in AEW history, and he has got the potential to be the best heel in wrestling ever. He's that good, and he's got that much potential. You know, people say, you know, but he doesn't wrestle. I think last year he wrestled less than Roman Reigns, which is saying something, you know. But that in itself just shows how much of a star attraction he is, because he'll still sell out arenas. People are there to listen to what MGF says on the mic, you know? Mm-hmm. You want to be there when he actually does wrestle, because you know he's going to fucking cheat his way to winning, but you want to see how he does it, right?
Yeah.
As I say, he's going to lead the business for years. And I know we've had this conversation about a couple on my list in terms of he's already a star, but I'm thinking about how much potential he's got out with AEW. If he goes to WWE, sky's the limit. Fucking write it. GOAT status. He will be on like Mount Rushmore. That's how good MGF is. He is the heel just now.
He's one of my favorite wrestlers, like right now.
27.
He's 27 years old. It's crazy. And he was doing better shit when he was 24 than he's doing when he was 27, which is crazy. So, I can't really add much more to what you're saying. He's not on my list.
Yeah, I gathered that. Yeah, from the way you do your list, that's fine.
But if it was the same, if the list was the same, if I made it the same as you, if you know what I mean, he would be my number one, like without a shadow of a doubt, because he's just a special talent. He is the second coming of Roddy Piper.
Yeah,
for those guys who, he would talk you into an arena, he would talk you into a match, and he didn't need to wrestle. You went there to listen to what you had to say and fucking boo and cheer or laugh when he zinged somebody. But that was the thing for him. You know what I mean? Like, and we talk about it all the time. I'm representing tonight. The stuff he done with Punk is just generational. Yeah, we'll go down in history as some of the best shit ever. But yeah, I'm not going to say what, but for me, he's a star.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But
yeah,
I think I'm looking at just the potential he's got. If he left AEW tomorrow, what else can he do? Can you imagine he goes to WWE? Can you imagine the promo off between him and Paul Heyman?
Don't.
Don't tease you.
This is a PG podcast. That's X-rated. Yeah, he would be special there. He really would. And he would definitely rub people up the wrong way, so he would get the reactions that he would want as well, 100%. Which would be just fucking brilliant. But
that's what I'm saying. I know he's a star now, right? And we've talked about this all the time. But in terms of he's still going to be this star or better in 10, 15 years' time.
Yeah.
You know, because he doesn't work a lot. You know, I think that is actually true. He worked less matches than Roman Reigns did last year.
Which is crazy. And he had one of the best matches of the year last year with the Ironman match. So, like, he sort of came back, and when it mattered, he knocked it out of the park. Perform. Yeah.
It's like Bruno Sammartino.
Match of the year last year. I thought the Ironman match did with the old Observer stuff. But they just amazing talent.
Amazing talent.
I've just saw on, I don't know, obviously it's all Wikipedia, so you're going to take it with a pinch of salt sometimes. But he was trained by Brian Myers.
Yeah, apparently so. Yeah,
Kurt Hawkins. That's interesting. Kurt Hawkins is a very underrated talent. But yeah, for me, like he's already tippy top guy. So
fair
it's one
dues.
of
No,
them.
that's fine.
But I'm not going to.
2023 Wrestling Observer Award Pro Wrestling Match of the Year was Omega versus Will Ospreay.
Ah, of course it was.
Then it was Kenny Omega versus Will Ospreay, number 2. And then number 3 was MGF versus Bryan Danielson.
There you go. He was up there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
To Kenny Omega. There we go. Okay, moving on to your number 3, Hoxie.
My number 3, very quickly, very simply, Jade Cargill. She's I think she found out very quickly when she was in AEW, like what she sort of let herself in for. She'd never been around the business before. She'd never been involved in wrestling. I think, was she like a basketball player or something?
I have no idea.
God, sorry, really quickly. Women's professional fast pitch. So she done that sort of stuff. Whatever fast pitch is that just women's softball? There you go, softball. So she was a softball player. Another coachable talent, basically. Yeah. When you look like that, you want to just try it, you're going to be a star, basically.
Yeah.
If you've got a thumb's worth of talent to be able to be an athlete or to wrestle, you're going to make it. She doesn't have to do technical masterpieces. She's just got to go in there and throw somebody around, pose, look good, and just wrestle as best as she can. She's going to be money. When she came into that Royal Rumble, and we talk about like the highlights of the Rumble and stuff, we talk about Jordan Grace and obviously Chelsea Green for different reasons and stuff. She looked like she'd already made it.
She belonged.
Yeah, she was made. Like she looked insane when she come out, and they will know exactly what to do with a Jade Cargill. She'll be. Once again, she's not going to wrestle till she's 40. She's not going to be one of these timers, like these lifers. She's not going to do that. She's going to be there for 5 years, but she's going to make all the money. She's going to headline pay-per-views. She's going to sell merchandise. She's going to have talked about feuds with people. She's going to hold titles. She is definitely going to hold titles. She's going to be on posters. She's going to be in adverts. She's going to be in movies. She's going to be top level star.
She's going to be a modern day China, but with the talent.
Yeah.
You know what I mean in terms of spectacle?
And I think she's more of a crossover talent than a China. She's got more appeal to like a mainstream audience. Like she's going to be on like sports. She's going to be on ESPN. She's going to be on fucking like award ceremony. She'll be at like the fucking Oscars or something. You know what I mean? She's going to be everywhere. Like
she's going to do a Jimmy Fallon, Jimmy Kimmel, you know,
everywhere.
She go everywhere.
Yeah. She's money, absolute money. The fact that AEW, like they were never ever going to keep hold of her. They were never going to keep this girl ever. They don't know what to do with a Jade Cargill. They haven't got the facilities to do what they need to do with a Jade Cargill. I bet Triple H was doing fucking cartwheels, and Nick Khan would have been doing them behind him as well when they found out they could get hold of this girl. She's money, and she's really respectful as well. I've saw clips of her. Yeah, like her and Punk get on really well, and she's really respectful with the talent. She's taken time to learn as well. She's been up with the with Natalia up at the dungeon in Canada. She's really putting effort in. She wants to succeed. She really, it's going to be special.
She's not on my list. She was the last person to get taken off my list. Do you think this is a bit of a discussion side part now? Do you think they're running the risk of leaving it too late to release her onto the roster? Like we thought after the Rumble, after the performance she had there, she's
going to be on Raw.
Yeah, but she wasn't. Are they running the risk of diluting her? Do you think
she's an attraction talent? I'm going to make a really weird comparison now, and I'm going to make this comparison for an example's sake, not to compare the two. She's like an Andre the Giant. Like, she won't be on every show. She won't be on every main event. She won't be on every Saturday night. Like, she won't be on every pay-per-view or whatever. She will come out when when she comes out, it's important and shit's going to go down. She's going to be that kind of person. I know they need to get her over. They will do eventually, but they gave us a little taste, a little entree to the Jade Cargill experience at the Royal Rumble, and they put her over. They put her over strong. I thought she was going to win it. When she came out, I genuinely thought she was going to win it, but she didn't. But she was in the strong. She was what? Was she the last person eliminated?
Yeah,
I can't remember. Yeah. So yeah, there or thereabouts,
or third last, or something like that. Yeah,
she was right at the end, wasn't she?
Yeah,
so
it was the last four anyway.
She's going to be a big deal. A big deal.
Now, I know you said that she's going to win titles. There's always something been in my mind with Jade since she's joined WWE. I see her having one reign and just going undefeated until she retires. Like,
yeah, probably.
You know what I mean? She'll beat one of
like
them.
a really long reign, like one of the longest reigns,
like a Roman Reigns type reign we're talking about.
Yep.
And she'll pass it on to the next generational star, whoever that may be.
To a Stratton.
Exactly. To a Tiff, exactly.
Somebody like that. Yep.
And for that character, for that particular person, for Jade Cargill, it would work. You know, it's tippity top talent. Like I say, very, very almost on my list. Actually, she was going to be my number 2, which we'll get to in a wee second. But just missed the mark for me. But yeah, I totally agree with you, 100%. Phenomenal potential. Okay, Jade Cargill is Hoxie's number 3. Moving on to your number 2, Hoxie boy.
You're gonna fucking pull another face about this one. I'm sure of it. I'm fucking sure of it. If you do, I'll be fuming. But I hope you don't. But I got a feeling you will. My number 2 is Swerve Strickland.
No. Well.
Okay.
He's not on my list. Okay, I agree with you.
You're not going to kick off. Yeah. Okay, that's fine. So, was it last week or the week before? I spent a bit of time on talking about Swerve. They need to pull the trigger with this guy. I can't believe the WWE let him go in the first place. That's a big fail. Miss. But yeah, huge miss by Triple H. Obviously, we don't know all of the ins and outs of it, all the ramifications. We don't know all of that stuff. No. Whatever. It's just what gets released. But and he got released by them, which just makes me go cross-eyed. He's put some size on now. He's really found his niche. He's always had it. He's always had the charisma. He can go. He really, really can go. Yeah. He's another one of these, quite similar to like a Jade Cargill. He's got lots of crossover potential.
Yeah.
Obviously, he's a rap artist. Is that what the cool kids say? He's a rap artist. He's a rappist, a rapper man. So he's got that different side of him.
What the fuck are you asking me for? I'm like the albino Vanilla Ice. What are you talking about? What the fuck?
He's got such crossover potential to get into like a mainstream mindset. Like into that zeitgeist. I I don't know what AEW are fucking about with. He might win on Sunday. Obviously, we got the pay-per-view on Sunday, haven't we? You know what I mean? He might go and win it and win the big one and do whatever's going on. But I just need to see. I'm sure the match has been finalised, right?
It's a triple threat.
It's going to be triple threat, isn't it?
Yeah.
I just hope they. I hope they do it. I think if there's anyone who's deserving of right now of getting that title, because he's like, and I know this is like a really little thing as well, like the Prince Nana dance thing. Like Nana's, that's so over, and it's part of Swerve's presentation, but it's not damaging that presentation at all. Because you think like Swerve's this serious, he's meant to be a heel, but he's a badass cool heel, which is like the antithesis of what a heel should be. But that's modern wrestling. But he's got that presentation. He just, the way he walks out, he's just oozing it. He's got all of it, and I've said this before. He has all, whatever it is, he has it all. And he could go to the WWE, and he could be in a main event picture. Everybody would take him seriously. Everybody would respect him because he would be able to get himself over, and the WWE would really, really know what to do with him as well. He's phenomenal talent. There's not enough good things that I can say about Swerve Strickland. He's just a great talent.
Yeah, absolute superstar. Like, I watched that episode of Dynamite. It was the triple threat. It was the 3-man tag. Him and Samoa Joe and fucking, what's his face? Big fucking meathead. I can't remember his name. Doesn't fucking matter.
Powerhouse Hobbs?
Nope. White guy.
Wardlow?
Brian Cage.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yep.
I've got a really horrible feeling that Adam Page is going to go over this weekend. Horrible feeling.
Please don't.
Like, I hope not. Like, I agree with you. It's a case of it. He's the cool heel, and I think there's two heels in that match: Samoa Joe and Swerve, and there's just something. I think they're going to fuck it. And I agree with you. He's got so much star potential. He is different gravy. I think he was offered to go back to WWE and he refused. And I think that could be one of the biggest mistakes he's going to make. I think because AEW won't know what to do with him. You know,
I think I think he would be starting again if he went back to the WWE. Not necessarily starting again, but they would probably put him in NXT. He'd have a run with the NXT title, and then he'd go on to the main roster. I think if he finishes his story with AEW, and they do give him the title, it puts him in a way bigger position to go to the WWE and say, "I'm not going to NXT. I want to be on the main roster. This is what I've done. Like, I am a world champion holder. Yeah. Like, I know it's AEW, and you might not think that, whatever, but he could go there and be like, I'm a big deal, guys. Like, treat me like that. Like, Cody's even with it here." Yeah,
he's an alternative. He's an alternative to like the norm of what a wrestler should be. I think he's just, yeah. Fair shout. You're number 2, Swerve Strickland. I can't disagree with anything you said.
Shane, man, big Shane Swerve, it's fucking brilliant. He's class. I love him, and he could be like a real beacon for like the black community with especially that he's got that crossover potential, and he's got that real potential.
Like he's a modern day Ron Simmons type thing.
Just he gets it, man. People will follow him because he's just cool. He's like a cool guy.
Yeah,
he's not trying to be cool. He's not forced down our throats. He's just got that swagger,
just him.
Charisma. Yep, he's real. He's real, right?
Still real to me, damn it. Build it and they shall come, and all other cliches you can think of. Okay, moving on to my number 2 then. Again, it's probably, I know what you're going to say here, she's already a star, but for me it's Rhea Ripley. Again, she is the star now, and she's going to continue to be that star and get better and better and better, similar to MJF, you know, current Raw Women's Champion or World Heavyweight Champion, Women's Tag Team Champion one time, NXT Women's Champion, UK Women's Champion, the inaugural Women's Royal Rumble winner, 7th Women's Triple Crown Champion, 5th Women Grand Slam Champion, fucking dominant, incredible. She looks amazing. We've got a soft spot for Rhea. Our white mic work, it just gets so better. See, it's See when she goes like "Mammy on top," it's like, okay, yes, ma'am, you do that. That's fine. Yeah, she is the leader of Judgment Day. You know, one of the best stables in WWE just now.
Yeah.
And she's got some big personalities there to deal with. Like Damian Priest is a massive personality. Finn Balor, Prince Devitt is a massive personality. Ron Truth Killings, like he's huge. He's fucking.
I love the way you're like clumping him in with them.
No, but in terms of personality, she controls that.
Yeah.
She's a puppet master.
Yeah.
You know, and as we talked about earlier, she has the ability in the ring where she looks phenomenal, but she can also put over weaker opponents, either like in stature or just ability, like a Nia Jax, for example. She puts them over and makes them look $1 million. Like I say, she is the pinnacle just now of women's wrestling, and if it continues to go at this rate, there is no one going to touch her in terms of GOAT status in women wrestling. It's like she's just phenomenal, and the potential she has moving forward, sky's the limit again. I know what you're going to say. She's already the star at the moment, but I'm thinking about where next. You know, what's next for Rhea, and sky's the limit.
I've said this many times before on this podcast. She's Hollywood bound. She's like Hollywood talent, like without a shadow of a doubt. Special. You've just said it.
I get it.
She's the now. She's probably been the past couple of years. She is the present, and she will be the future. But she's not like breakout, because she has fucking booted the door wide open in terms of breaking out of anything already a long time ago. So
she, you know, you've talked about crossover ability as well from a Swerve or a Jade. She has that as well, and I think the sort of the promo and press that she's done, especially for Australia, just shows how good she is as a media personality.
Yeah,
and tippity top, like fucking phenomenal. Can't speak highly enough of her.
We love Rhea Ripley.
Big fan.
Yeah, huge fan.
You know, to be fair, right, if I have a sort of wish list of people we could get on this show to interview, she would be up there in terms of her. Like, an MJF would be fucking hilarious. A CM Punk would be incredible.
I'd love to get a CM Punk top 10 on something. That would be like just to sit and listen to like his proper thoughts on stuff, and like his views would be fucking so good.
And there's actually 3 others I would love to see. Jim Ross, I think that would be fucking great. Paul Heyman and William Regal. I'd love to get William Regal.
Oh,
you know, if anybody listens to this, if you see this clip on Twitter or on TikTok, and you know a William Regal, or you know Paul Heyman, not a William Regal, the William Regal.
The William Regal.
Spam it. Go and fucking get them involved. I would love to do that. That's the aim for Market 10. Having guests on this show where we can interview them, and they give their top 10 wrestlers as well. That would be phenomenal. But anyway, we're moving. I digress. Sorry, Hoxie. It was tangential.
I was just going to say, I'm going to look right in the camera now, dead eye in the camera. I'm not going to take my hat off because my hair's all fucked up. Conrad Thompson, the podcast, the podfather, that is Conrad Thompson, okay? You've got connections to everybody. You know Jim Ross personally. I've dropped into your DMs and showed you our first podcast because you're a massive, massive inspiration to me. Please, if you can, pretty please, we would love you on the show to start off with. But please ask Jim Ross and see if he would come on our show. That would be special. Thank you.
We'd mark the fuck out. We would mark the fuck out on mark out of 10. That's what we'd
Roll Tide, Connie. Roll Tide.
Anyway, so usually if you haven't listened to our podcast before, what we usually do is now have an honourable mention. So someone that should be on the list somewhere, but we just couldn't fit them in. So we have a cheeky number 11. I'll go first because it's someone that you've already mentioned. My honourable mention is Austin Theory, 26. He, as you said earlier, he needs to go away and learn a new hold. He is sort of been tarred with the McMahon, he's the next guy, you know, and especially now with what's happened with McMahon. I think he's a clearly talented guy. Like you say, he's got the look, he's got the ability, he can speak, he's got the moves, everything. He's reliable within media. Again, the promotional tour in Australia, he is a reliable hand, but he needs something new. He needs a repackage. He needs a new gimmick. I think the heel thing has sort of run its course for him a little bit. I think he could be a phenomenal babyface. Like you say, he's got that look, the $1 million smile. I think what he needs to do though is leave. And then, similar to like a McIntyre or even a Cody Rhodes, I know I'm putting over Cody Rhodes here. What the fuck's happening? But go away, go to different promotions, go to like the indies or whatever, go to the smaller promotions, build yourself up, become like a monster over, come back, and it's the sky's the limit for Austin Theory. I think, unfortunately, Elimination Chamber is potentially the lowest point of his career so far in terms of that particular segment clearly shows it's an example of what's the point of you. What they're doing with him just now is they are removing every shred of credibility he has as a potential champion, and he has got that potential, and he could be the guy. I agree with you. Maybe not John Cena. Like, I understand where you're coming from. Not for me, but he's certainly he's going to be the guy in WWE, or he could be the guy in WWE moving forward. So yes, my honourable mention is Mr. Austin Theory, 26 years of age.
26, man. It's crazy. Think about what he has done. He's done like a lot of stuff, hasn't he? Like a lot of stuff. But yeah, just get away. Get away. You're all right.
Good shit. Okay, Hoxie, your honourable mention.
My honourable mention this week is somebody who hasn't wrestled for AEW. As far as I'm aware, I think he's done like little bits and bobs with WWE, but like as an enhancement for the NXT UK stuff. He hasn't done TNA. He hasn't done AEW. He's basically starting to take off now. He's doing GCW. He's doing progress stuff in the UK, progress championships, all this sort of stuff. There's a guy called Man Like Darius. Now, there'll be people who listen to this who will go, holy shit, Dan, that's an amazing shout. And there'll be people who listen to this will go, who? I'm telling you now, in terms of the next crop or the next level of guys who are going to be coming out of England, coming out of the UK, I could have put Leon Slater in here as well. Very, very easily could have put Leon Slater in here as well. But I think Man Like Darius has got way more upside than a Leon Slater. He really, really, really is one to watch. He had a match recently. Oh my god, it's completely gone off the top of my head now. So there was Mad Kurt, who was a wrestler who passed away, sadly. Basically the back end of last year. He wrestled with Dan Maloney, who's now signed to New Japan, part of the GCW Junior Tag Team Champions. Great talent, phenomenal talent. Birmingham boy as well. So like a local lad, Brummy lad. I think he started wrestling at Kamikaze Pro, which is a real hotbed. Lot of Midlands wrestlers, a lot of the NXT UK guys have been through Kamikaze Pro, but he's wrestled all over the place, and the GCW opportunity has led to more GCW opportunities, which means he's on the skyrocket to go somewhere very, very big. Man Like Darius, you need to go and check him out. You need to go and sort of seek him out and look at this guy. He was at Wembley as Joe and Miro and whoever it was. Yeah. Miro and Hobbs done the contract thing. He was one of the security guards. Also, he was up in the skybox when they had their Stadium Stampede match. He was one of the lads who got took out standing next to the bar. I think Eddie Kingston laid him out or whatever. So he was invited to all that, to get involved in that sort of stuff. But you need to go out your way, check out Man Like Darius. He can go. The Lyrical Dragon, man. This boy can go. He's going to be the next guy from the UK. Million percent. Check him out. Hear me now.
Okay, interesting, Hoxie. Okay, before we reveal our number ones then, we're going to run through our list from 10 to honourable mention. Because it's your next number 1, I'll go first then. Dominic Mysterio is my number 10. Number 9 is Sol Ruka. Number 8, Julius Creed. Number 7, Jordan Grace. Number 6, Mr. Tyler Bate. Number 5, Logan Paul. 4, Tiff Stratton. 3, MJF. 2, Rhea Ripley. And my honourable mention is Mr. Austin Theory. Hoxie?
My number 10 is Chris Statlander. Number 9 is Sol Ruka. Number 8, Konosuke Takeshita. Number 7, Jordan Grace. Number 6, Austin Theory. 5, Tiffany Stratton. 4, Ricky Starks. 3, Jade Cargill. 2, Swerve Strickland. And my honourable mention to Man Like the Reese.
Love it. Okay, Hoxie. Your number 1 of 10 of the hottest prospects in wrestling is...
Bron Breakker.
So's mine.
There we go.
Yeah.
I had a feeling we were going to do this today, to be fair. Earl Bronson Rex Steiner, son of old Rick Steiner. This guy is just
money.
Next level talent. His genetics are amazing. His training would have been amazing. He looks good. He can go. He is fast as fuck, boy. He's strong. He's a big guy, but he's not like a meathead level guy. You know what I mean? Like he's literally, if you were to roll a package of what you want a modern day wrestler to look like and work like and be like, it is Bron Breakker. They need to change his name. I think his name is fucking dreadful.
He needs to be a Steiner.
Like, even if it was just Bron Rex Steiner, like that would be that would be sick. That would be such a fucking cool name, Bron Steiner. I think they might have shit the bed because of all the Steiner stuff that come out with all that racism and sexism and all that sort of shit. Whatever. But even just fucking Bron Rex Steiner would be sick.
Yeah,
he's such a sick name. Anyway, whatever. But the guy he was in the Rumble this year. He took Brock's spot, allegedly, apparently. It was Brock's spot that he took over. He came in, looked like he'd been there forever. Literally looked like he didn't miss a beat. I think, has he been called up yet? Or he's just about to be called up?
He's recently signed to SmackDown, right? Yeah, yep. Signed to SmackDown.
Get him skyrocket to the moon.
NXT, two-time NXT champion. He's NXT Tag Team Champion with what's his face?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. The fucking
cool ass finisher. End of days.
King. Yeah, he was the king, wasn't he? Fuck's sake!
Oh my god! This is getting edited out. You aren't going to fucking see this, so it's fine. Oh my god! I genuinely, it's a mind blank. You find that. So yeah, Tag Team champ Baron Corbin, thank you. With Tag Team Champion with him, he won the men's Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic. Like you say, he appeared in the Rumble. He was only in for 5 minutes, apparently. He eliminated 4 guys in 5 minutes and looked fucking incredible.
He was in for 5 minutes?
Apparently so, yeah. It was like...
Say what?
Yeah, I don't know if that's right. You might need to stat check me, but it wasn't a long time at all. But he fucking just... He looked the part. He looked it, right? And he does. He comes from Wrestling Gold, you know, Rick and Scott Steiner. We've talked about them and their tag teams, the Steiner brothers. He's going to be a huge deal. Huge. Now, I don't know if you remember this. Now, there was an episode, I think, in the first season of Mark Out of 10. I said he could potentially be the guy to dethrone Roman Reigns in the future.
Mm-hmm.
If Cody doesn't finish his story, right? I still maintain he is going to be the champ. Might not be this year, might not be next year, but he will be a champ very soon.
Is he going to take Gunther's title rather than Roman Reigns' title?
How do you, well, no, because
is he going to beat Gunther?
Well, no, Gunther is based on Raw.
Is the IC belt on Raw?
Yeah.
I thought the US title was on Raw.
Nah, US is on.
Oh, there we go.
Fucking,
Well, either way.
yeah, either
Stop
way,
trying to put logic to an illogical situation, John.
I'm
What are
sorry.
you
I'm
doing?
sorry. Fuck you, Hoxie. Ricky Starks.
Oh, no.
But no, I think we both agree. We've talked about Bron Breakker a lot as well in the past, and he is, out of everybody, he has got the most potential. He's a legitimate star. He's a legitimate
Huge upside. The
fucking
biggest upside. Yeah.
And do I know what's really good? He can talk as well, and it doesn't sound ridiculous. Like usually when you have those big fucking meathead guys, because he's a big boy, right?
Yeah.
They usually can't speak, but he's got the Scott Steiner speakability. He's good on the mic. I really enjoy him. He has that comedic timing. He's going to sell fucking shed tons of merch. Like he's got that. I agree with you. He needs to change from Bron Breakker. I think he needs to be a Steiner. The reason I think he's got to be a Steiner is because WWE have shat the bed in the past with like second and third generation stars before. Curtis Axel should have been Hennig. It should have been Hennig straight away. You know, Mr. Perfect's son. I don't think they'll go down that route again. And Hennig should have been a star. But yeah, Bron Breakker for me, just tippity top of, and he's going to be involved for years to come.
When you look at, like, Vince always used to say, like, the people who walk through an airport and they get, like, people, like, what the fuck is that guy? Like,
Yeah.
Bron Breakker's that kind of guy. So on their NXT, on the website, sorry, the WWE roster website, you go down and he's right next to, he's below Braun Strowman. He's right next to Brock Lesnar. Booker T, Bobby Lashley are all around him. He's got Bronson Reed underneath and Bronco Nemo is another big boy. Like, when you see him next to Braun, Brock, Lashley, and Booker, he does not look out of place. Like, he really doesn't look like, he just looks jacked to the fucking gills, but not like meathead jacked. He does not look out of place on that screen.
No.
To me, it's crazy. This guy's money, man. The guy is absolute money. I can't wait to see him now having big time matches on big time shows. I can't wait to see what they're going to do with him. It's going to be brilliant. I'm so excited. Now he's signed for NXT. He'll be signed to SmackDown. It's going to be really good fun. I'm going to have a look at the SmackDown roster now just to see who's on there, who he could wrestle with. I mean, I would love to see him have a match with Kevin Owens. That would be good fun. SmackDown roster.
AJ.
Fucking hell, yeah.
Austin Theory.
Why have they not got the... Okay.
There's a drop down you can change.
Yeah, I can see it, yeah. Fucking Bobby Lashley. That'd be some good fun. Two big boys going at it. Fuck me. That'd be great fun. Hey, fucking summer matches against like the Usos and LA Knight. And LA Knight versus Bron would be fucking brilliant. Roman Reigns, The Rock, Solo Sikoa, Sheamus and Bron Breakker would be good fun. That'd be really good fun. Yeah. Fucking Randy Orton, old Randall and Bron, they'd make some money. That'd be great fun.
Money.
Really, really good fun. So, yeah, there's a lot to be had. There's a lot to gain. And like I say, he literally is. He is the future. Yep. 1,000,000%.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we have done the top 10 hot prospects in wrestling. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Let us know at wrestlemark10@gmail.com, at Mark_out of10 on Twitter. Comment on our YouTube channel at Mark_out of10. Also on TikTok and on Instagram at Mark_out of10. We want to know what you guys think. Let us know your list. Let us know what you think of the podcast. Do you agree? Go to Spotify, remember? And is Ricky Starks a prospective star? There will be a poll. Yeah, as ever, make sure you do share out all the things. Share it with a friend. Share the podcast with a friend. We want to grow it more and more. It's fantastic. We do appreciate everybody listening to
help
the podcast.
With the goddamn algorithm. Just like and share and like here, subscribe here, follow here, comment here. Fucking whatever. Yeah, just anything helps, guys. We love you.
Absolutely.
We love you all.
We do love you. The Mark out of 10 audience is greatly appreciated. Okay, next episode. We always give a reveal of the next episode. Now, it's going to be a significant episode here because this coming weekend is the retirement. It's someone we've talked about a lot over the last few weeks. It is the retirement of one of the greatest of all time, the icon Sting. Yeah, it's going to be a sad day in wrestling. Hopefully the match does not disappoint. It's actually going to be a pay-per-view that I'm going to sit down and watch just because of the sheer momentous occasion it is. So next week's episode of Market at 10, me and Hoxie have talked about it, and it's going to be an ode to Sting. We're going to deep dive instead of the news, unless there's something major significantly happens within there.
Let's spin some shit on someone else's head. We'll be doing a deep dive on Sting.
What Hoxie said. We're going to do a bit of a deep dive on Sting. We'll talk about key moments. We'll talk about the history of Stinger. And yeah, we'll just, as I say, it's an ode to him. But the top 10 list, when you think of Sting, you think of WCW. So what we and Hoxie are going to do, we're going to do our top 10 WCW moments. I'm sure Sting will be involved in a couple of them, but I think it's only fitting to one of the greatest to ever lace up a pair of boots, especially in WCW, to do a top 10 WCW moments. Thoughts, Hoxie?
I'm really, really excited. We were discussing this earlier on when I was at the gym, and I even stopped. Not because we were talking, I just needed to stop because I was going to die. But I was really, really excited about this next week's show. And yeah, top 10 WCW moments. It'll be really good fun. Like you say, sometimes we can be a bit WWE heavy, can't we? But it's just the way that things are at the minute. But having a look back, and there is some really important, poignant things have happened in WCW.
Yep.
1997 is probably going to be heavy for me because it was my favorite year in wrestling, and the big war was going on. But yeah, little ode to Sting, little bit of a look back through his career and some of his good shit. With some top 10 WC moments. I'm looking forward to it, mate.
It's going to be a good one. So we'll do a deep dive into Sting, and we'll also, I think we should probably review the final match of Stinger, right, and see what happens, because we have talked about it, we've alluded to it in terms of what we think could happen. I think it's only fitting that we actually give that a bit of a review as well.
It's a tornado tag as well. Have you seen that? It's a tornado.
Oh, is it?
Tag.
I didn't know. I didn't know that.
It's been advertised as a tornado tag, which means it'll probably be fucking dog shit. But hopefully it won't.
So that's what to expect next week. It's going to be fun. As Orange Cassidy would say. Yeah. Thank you to everybody very much for watching from Shields. Have a very nice rest of your week.
And from Hawksy, have a good one. We'll catch you on the next one. Love you. Bye.